And good day, good evening, good night, and welcome to podcast number 62. Though it might say 63 in your thing. Janina checked it, and she's better at math than I am.
Oh
Welcome to our final live show of Wimbledon 2016. If we're a hot mess, we're all drinking except Janina. I'm not sure what's going on here. Like, this is 2 weeks in a row, she claims she's not drinking, but we can't testify that. But the name of today's podcast is Leaving SW222 Club. Yes, we're leaving Wimbledon 2016 behind, for better and for worse. But,
I don't know if it's for worse for anybody.
But,
It seems like a pretty tame.
My Wimbledon ended yesterday, so that's why I'm drinking my champagne today. You can hear the pop. Hopefully it doesn't hit my face like it does to Nola. Hopefully. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
My God.
Yeah, so I am. Let's make sure this is really good.
You are out of control.
It's okay. It's adequate.
It'll work.
It will work.
Perfect.
Okay, ladies. Well, Wimbledon 2016 is over. And you know what? Before, we're in the club right now. Last lap. This is the last lap. Okay, last call. It's 3 o'clock. This is what, in America, it's 3 o'clock, last call in club. So, ladies, what did you say overall? Good Wimbledon, bad Wimbledon? We want to forget it like we forget US Open 2009?
You know what? There were some really good things and some really boring things.
You know what?
Yeah.
Hold up. I have a message from security. Security has now handed down the ban list for the SW22 club. They are as follow. Maria Sharapova cannot come into this club. David Dupa cannot come into this club. Milos Raonic cannot come into this club. Marcel Granollers cannot come into this club. Pablo Cuevas, nope, nada. And also, because we're a feminist podcast, we have Timia Babos. She can't come into this club either. Just saying.
Oh, you're going to have to inform me about why all these people are blocked.
And first and foremost, and also, who is on probation? Andy Murray, because you can't be behaving like that even when you're winning at life. No. We
Why?
can't have
What
it
did
up
he
in our
do?
club. Did you see his behavior in the finals? Oh, that's too much.
He was fine. He was typical Andy. Shut your mouth.
Listen,
Too much.
winning makes everything forgivable. I'm sure
Right.
we'll hear nothing of it.
Of course, we
I'm sure
won't
it's
hear
perfectly
nothing
fine.
of it. I won't hear
But
nothing
anyway,
of it.
so Wimbledon. You know what? I feel like this Wimbledon is a solid. 6 out of 10. I mean, I feel like that's pretty good. That's a solid. Yeah, I mean, like, listen, on the women's side, it's probably an
9 out of 10.
An 8 out of 10 for me. But then when you add the ATP, it drags the average.
Yes,
down.
I agree. I was gonna say,
Men are always
out of my
fucking
mind.
shit up.
When we're
Always.
assessing individual tours, ladies won hands down. Men,
Yeah.
not so much.
Not so much. I
Not
mean,
You throw some penises in the mix and it just goes bad.
Yeah. Just,
well, it's just like, I mean, on some level, they're supposed to be sort of triumphant, right? Because you've got, like, Serena and Andy are similar in the sense that they were both in finals and both lost, and now they're in their third final. It's a triumphant win. But unfortunately, Milos Raonic ain't no Angie Kerber, so that finals opponent, just didn't have, there was nothing about the final that felt like a final. It was sad. It was like, it was a real bland, which, listen, let's just call it what it is. If we're in a Brexit world, it's bland and
it's cottage cheese. It was cottage cheese. That's what it was.
It was
And
like
they didn't even give us any pineapple in it.
there was no point in time that it looked like Raonic was going to be able to resist the inevitable.
No.
And it just wasn't a battle. It's not going to be known as one of the memorable Wimbledon finals. I think it's going to be enjoyable for Wimbledon people because it's Andy and he's Brit, and that's great for them. And Andy's a feminist, so that's nice for them as well.
Okay.
For all the tennis reporters out there who are desperately looking for male feminists, they've landed on Andy. So this is a moment for them to celebrate as well.
He's a feminist even when he's hanging out with people with female coaches. I mean, I'm telling you. I'm telling you, it is So easy. So easy.
Hey,
Listen.
Tony is ranking this Wimbledon 22 out of 10.
Oh,
No pun
Tony.
There
intended,
you go.
right?
Tony, don't
ladies.
worry. Tony, tell the truth. You know your Wimbledon ended yesterday. You didn't watch. Wimbledon ended on Saturday for you. You counted
I've-
13 days, and you counted the middle Sunday as one of the days, and you ended yesterday. Don't even try.
Well, listen. Let's be honest. Since in reality the two tours are fairly separate, let's just treat them separately.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's talk about. Let's start out with the crappy tournament first. So let's start with the men.
Okay.
Let's
So let's
end on
talk
a high
about
note.
these fellas.
Yeah, the ATP tournament at Wimbledon. What are you all thinking?
Let me just say,
Oh. Go on.
look, I'm drinking, Janina, so
Gotta
relax,
pace
okay?
himself.
I gotta pace myself. I got a whole bottle, and you don't have to drink the whole bottle because I don't have a bottle cork. So once it's
Oh my
open,
God.
it just gotta be drunk.
We are in
So,
trouble.
I mean, I think we have to say, you know, as much as I know some people on this podcast, some of these hostesses, not naming any names, but some of these hostesses are mad that, you know, Roger Federer didn't get to his, ninth Wimbledon final?
I'm
Would it
not
be his,
mad. I'm not
is it
mad.
9? No, I tell a lie. He has 7. He made it to 3 finals additional to that and didn't win, so that would have been his 11th, right?
Yeah.
Am I right? His 11th Wimbledon final. Some people are mad because let's be fair here. When we started, when we got to SW19 2 weeks ago, we said we weren't sure whether Federer was gonna even make it past the 3rd round,
Yeah, well, he did.
and he did. And you know he played the match of the tournament on the men's side, between him and Cilic. It was the best split set match about. I can't think of any that was any better. And I have to give him applause for that. I mean, like, it's the first time he won 5 matches outside of Melbourne. Anyway, 5 matches in a row. So that's pretty good. I thought he did a solid performance. I mean, he's gonna be 35. I mean, but at the end of it all, I kind of have to see what you ladies are saying, because had Roger dealt with Milos, he could have done a better finals than this. Though he would have lost. Though he might have lost, because Andy didn't play any tennis today. He didn't play spectacular tennis. So I give you 2 points, but I also take away 4 points because I'm just happy.
What are you, freaking Professor Dumbledore? Handing out marbles?
Yes, so I am giving you ladies 4 points, and then giving you 2 points, take away 4. But I am happy that Federer got to the semifinals and he put on a marvelous show. I mean,
well, let's just start out that the ATP side got a real shot in the arm by losing Djokovic in the 3rd round. It was the 3rd round.
Oh, is that what we're calling it? A shot in the arm?
It was a shot in the arm because you know what? It was good. Everyone was like, "Oh, it's gonna be a Murray Djokovic final, and that means that Murray's gonna lose to Djokovic again." And so when Djokovic left or was kicked out by Sam Querrey, because there's no way you can do that kind of dancing in this kind of club. I thought it was like this moment where like, woo, I think we're all curious now. The men's side might unfold in a totally different way, and then of course. As usual, it actually it stayed fairly predictable for Murray. Like he had no resistance on his side, because funny enough, Murray said, well, my draw hasn't really changed, and he was quite right. It was comfortable, and he was going to be primed and ready to have like a nice knockdown drag-out fight if he had encountered Novak Djokovic in the final. He was going to be well rested. Did he drop a set? I don't think so.
no, and he always played on center court.
Yeah, I mean it was the most comfortable ATP 250 Murray has played. You know what I mean? It was just like, think about it. Like it was.
Look, hold on a minute. I gotta put some pomade on my edges. I feel like you were coming for everybody's edges right there.
No,
And I gotta make sure my hair.
I'm just gonna stop being shady because that's what somebody called Federer's draw. But I do think that for Murray, it was nobody showed up in Murray's draw to even remotely challenge him. Burdage. Whew.
Shame on you,
talking about
Tomas.
Sangha. Look, and I'm gonna say this publicly.
Oh no, he
and
did lose sets. Yeah, he did lose sets. It was to Sangha. Sangha was the only competition.
Look,
but then Sangha could only compete
I ain't got
for
no
4
time
sets.
for you, Sangha. I don't know why the fuck
always
you
loses.
took that 4th set, knowing you don't have any stamina in the 5th set. Why, Sangha? It's
Because
like
of
taking
his
home
pride.
a girl from the
Because
club
of
and
his
promising
pride.
her all this kind of shit, and knowing full well you're impotent.
But
I've
you know
got
what?
no time for this
You
shit.
know what,
No.
though? I have to say, though, I was surprised. Remember, because Tsonga was sort of questionable even before he entered Wimbledon, because he usually plays queens and he withdrew. So, but you know, I think the only thing that helped Tsonga was because he loves grass so much, and his game responds so well on grass. But and maybe coming back 2 days in a row didn't help him.
Yeah, and I have to say the same thing with Nick Kyrgios. I know people have been calling shit. John McEnroe has the audacity to try to call out Nick Kyrgios. Motherfucker, what you saying now about Milos? What you got to say about Milos?
Listen,
You didn't add not one goddamn thing to Milos' game today. Nothing. Not one thing.
you know what? A lot of pointless serve and volley is what he added, I say, because there were times when Milos was venturing to the net, and I was like, "Don't go there, Milos. Just stand back and hit. Just stand back and hit a really good forehand. Don't venture to the
I'm
net."
telling you, Andy Roddick would have done better. Would have done better. I'm telling you.
Oh,
Andy Roddick would never rush the net in that ugly manner.
Stop it! I've seen top 10 poor Andy Roddick rushes, but you're right. He couldn't compete with Milos today. Whew, Milos was brutal. I mean, there were just times I was like, why choose this strategy against Andy, who's one of the better passers on tour, better anticipators of where you're going to hit the ball on tour. So it just seemed to me that it was not the most. I just didn't think it was the best strategy.
If the motherfucker is ready for your 147 miles per hour serve,
yeah.
how about we make shit up? How about we drop one in at 110? Because Andy, in the first set, Andy was throwing down 90 miles per hour full serve at you, and you still weren't doing shit.
Well, because Milos can't return for shit.
You're
really
stupid.
I mean,
Milos, you are stupid. I'm sorry.
listen,
I'm
stop
gonna say
it.
this.
Stop it. The reality of the situation is, this was Milos's very first Grand Slam final. No, don't you let me talk. Somebody take the champagne from him right now.
I'm not hearing this nonsense.
No, you're going to hear it. This was his first final. This was center court Wimbledon, the epitome of tennis. But this is his first final at Wimbledon. I mean, this is tennis. This is what the world thinks of when you say tennis. He wasn't going to come out there and do too much. Who wins their first fucking Grand Slam final?
Maria Sharapova.
And you know who?
Roger Federer.
I know. Angie Kerber.
It doesn't happen very often, is my point. It really doesn't. I don't know. I mean, he wasn't going to win anyways. He's not.
He could have. No. Let me tell you,
he could have competed way better.
Wait. Yeah, he got himself to 2 tie breaks, and was useless.
4 points combined. What 5 points combined?
In both tie breaks. Okay, fine. You know what? Tien also called me on it because he's like, Serbots most likely would lose a tie break. Fine, because they're maybe not going to get the receiving points. But you're telling me you are known for your serve. You get yourself into a tie break and you can't even hold. He didn't hold the first serve that he served in the tiebreak, and he was immediately down 2 mini breaks in the last. I was like, what the fuck is this? How are you a serve bot and you're losing tie break?
Not hearing it.
You're losing so poorly. You could lose them, but why lose them so badly? I mean, that was effective choking. Has to be like tightness to the nth degree.
Hello, nerves. Do we all know what nerves are?
Yes, we do, and I know he didn't move
very clearly today from start to finish because
Mother Teresa Janine is here for you, Milos. Mother Teresa Janine is here for you.
No, I mean, listen. First, you know what? I'll be honest. Okay, fine. It's true. I saw a bit of, I took a little time for my Sedona trip. Which, by the way, can I just a side thing here? Sedona is a wonderful place to visit.
Well, the police there with guns. I gotta know that.
No, because it's a population of 10,000. I'd say 99% of the people are white. So I felt, and I had a white buddy with me, as my sister says. Okay. So I felt reasonably safe walking around. I was unobjectionable. So lovely place to visit. Anyway, so I was there for a little break, and I caught the Federer Milos match. And the reality is, it's one of those situations where you have to admit that Federer sort of crashed and burned in the 4th and the 5th set. It's not, Milos was good to kind of maintain his energy and his effort so he can come through that match. But it's not the kind of situation where you're going to say to yourself, well, Milos really thrived in that match and therefore was going to put up a lot of distance to Andy
All right,
Murray.
it is time to say what needs to be said.
What?
Oh,
We have never seen it. I don't know. If we have, we haven't seen it. Federer was a teenager. Roger Federer choked.
Went away.
He choked.
Nope.
He was, no, shut your mouth.
Janina is about to get slammed.
Listen,
I don't think he choked.
I think he choked. I thought he lost it. He was up 40-love to take.
I know. Let me tell you something. I went to the bathroom.
He threw in two or three double faults in that game. That was nerves. That was him thinking, holy shit, I have the chance that I didn't expect to have at all, because he himself said that he didn't have super high expectations for this tournament. Let's keep it real. He got fucking nervous and he choked. And you know why nobody wants to admit it? Because we don't really know what that looks like. You never get to see Federer choked. Believe it, people. He fucking choked. He should have been able to take that to a tie break. 40-love up, and you're throwing. When do you see Federer throwing all them double faults? It doesn't happen. That was classic choking.
Well, I mean,
I'm sorry.
Nobody wants to hear from you right now, Reels.
Go ahead, Andreen. Be the voice of reason here, because choking. I don't know if I can explain.
I can't say that. How can you say Federer choked after he came back from 2 sets down 2 days earlier?
Because the win, he could taste it, and he got ahead of himself, and he fucking choked. If this was anybody else other than Federer, both of you would be saying he choked.
Listen, I didn't understand. Let me just finish this. I didn't understand what happened. I was like, this doesn't make any sense. I was comfortably watching, up 40-love. I was like, ooh, I gotta run to the bathroom. Come back. I'm expecting a tie break. No tie break. But you know, when questioned in the press, in his presser after, he said he didn't know. He himself couldn't explain what happened, which leads me to believe that Janina might have a point, that this is something that was outside of his range. But I also, to be honest, I really think, you know, whether it's a choke or whether it's like, wow, I can't believe I'm actually going to get to this final. Can I handle this final? I don't know what that moment was like, because I really couldn't believe that Federer had even made it this far.
He said he was angry with himself.
Yeah.
What does that tell you?
Because he knew that he was in control of that moment. He should have at least been able to get in. He lost control.
Even fucking serve. He couldn't even get on a fucking second serve.
Yeah, he should have gotten himself to, because the fall happened in the 5th set, right? It didn't happen in the 4th. It happened. So yeah, I mean, once he got broken in the 5th, you know, broken for the 4th set, and then I saw his kind of movement. I was like, okay, fine. I'm assuming that you're going to be probably gutted that you lost the chance to take this in a tiebreak. You're going to be a little bit distracted, which is why I knew that early break was probably going to be coming. And then once he fell, I was like, although he fought valiantly to sort of keep it to one break. But the fighting should have happened at the end of the 4th, not at the end of the 5th. This was one of those that really, I thought, got away from him. Although I'm not convinced that if he had made it to the final that he would have won. Because to be honest, Andy Murray had far more legs.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
He had far more legs and far more entertainment.
Be dismantled by Murray and sent.
Oh my God! I have to say that. I didn't want that actually. I was happy he lost in the semis.
Not here for that. I would have ran to England and I would have run on that court naked as I was born. Stop that shit. That ain't happening on my watch.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry.
I mean, I wouldn't. I'm not ready for the Lendl plus Murray combination going down against Federer.
You got your Olympic gold medal after that stuff, you know. And
I mean, how many times have we seen Andy Murray get a tired Federer and then dismantle that person? I just had a feeling. I was like, he's not going to be ready for that final. So I was fine with him going.
But he would have eked out a set. Milos, he still would have get a set. Milos, he would have been close to getting a set.
No, he would have kept it interesting. Let's just call it what it is. He could have kept the tennis interesting as well, because that was their final. Which that
was Craven. That was bullshit. And trust me, I can't wait for you to fire John McEnroe. And I mean, I'm sorry.
Fire him.
He's not gonna fire him. He made it to a fucking final with him as his coach.
He's not gonna fire.
We're already fired. You know what? I I'm not liking you very much today.
Hold on. Let's just
listen. You know what? Who's been drinking Pimm's today? Janina has. This bitch is on fire. She's calling Federer a choker. We're gonna have to take you outside, girl, and show you what the what.
I want you to think about this objectively.
No. Let me think. Okay.
No, I want you to think about this.
Put down my bottle.
Put it down.
I put down my bottle. Let's think about this objectively.
Yeah, and you're gonna hear my zip it.
No. Let me finish. The beginning of 2016, what does Milos do? Milos beat Federer convincingly. Federer was going through a flu and whatever the case may be, and Milos was feeling himself. Okay. Yeah. Milos was all about, I beat Federer because
what is the one shot you have control of in tennis?
Hold on, wait. Milos didn't even acknowledge Federer. Didn't even acknowledge him. And he got to the semifinals of Australian Open. He almost took Andy to fifth set. And that was really good. No John McEnroe.
And no serving and volleying.
And he was doing a really good job. He had Andy on the ropes in a sudden way up to the fourth set. Fifth set, he went away basically. No. Show up at Wimbledon, he beat Roger Federer again. No big news here. We know Roger Federer shouldn't even been here. Roger shouldn't have been here, etc. And what does he do to Andy? He actually, on the grass court in Queens, he did a better job because at least one of them was up and broke Andy. He was up a set and a break in Queens. Here at Wimbledon, Milos didn't do shit. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. He almost looked like a hidden partner out there. Playing some kind of like exhibition, some nonsense, and we all knew, well, Andy, it's your home crowd bullshit, so let you win it. Nothing. Milos didn't do anything. He realized that he was coming forward, he was getting past. What does Milos do? The same goddamn thing. Every single ball, I put it back to Andy Murray and give him one more shot. One more shot. I mean, like, there was so many ESPN highlight reels, so many crazy shots. Why? Because Milos saw the open court and figured, you know what? I ain't bothering with the open court. What the fuck want an open court, right? Why don't I give Andy something interesting for his home crowd? Let's give his home crowd something to cheer about. Yeah. The parents look so embarrassed. Feel like, oh my God, my son is stupid. And I mean, look, and I don't want to. I mean, look, when you rate the performance, ain't nothing different. As a matter of fact, Tomas Bodic even broke Andy.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I'm giving Tomas more credit than I'm giving Milos.
And that's really a lot. That's saying a lot.
Even Lendo sat down there and Lendo was just looking at this shit like, oh my God, this is bullshit. This is bullshit. I didn't need to come back for this garbage. Andy could handle this shit on his own.
Maybe not, though. Candy from a baby. No, I mean, it was kind of disappointing to see how Milos failed to handle his serve in the big moments.
Didn't even do anything. There was not one moment where you felt, okay, Milos okay, he lost the first set. I get it. He's been here before. But this is what Milos said, that this is why he is training, right? This is what I'm training for. I want to be in this position. I want to win. He didn't have a Federer in the finals, which would have been even bigger than having a Federer in the semifinals. He didn't have a Rafa. He didn't have a Novak. He had Andy fucking Murray.
You say that like Andy.
Oh, come on. Are you fucking kidding me right now?
I am telling you the truth. Look. The legend that is Andy Murray is in the press than is in the actual records book.
Yeah,
okay? It's in the press.
Yeah, it's
you
true.
talk about him like he's a slouch, though. He's not.
I'm not saying he's a slouch, but look, if it's any one of the big people you want to get in the final,
if you want
Andy Murray.
Yeah, if you had your choice. Yeah, if you had your choice,
when Stanley's on fire, he's unplayable.
Yeah.
When Stanley's on fire, there is nothing you could say in the conversation. So, you want someone in the finals, it's Andy Murray.
Andy Murray. Especially because you know you're going to get chances on his second serve. But since Milos isn't about returning serves, you're going to hope. I mean, but I have to say, though, Andy Murray was quite fortunate this time around because usually you can count on a few double faults.
Yeah.
A la Federer in the fourth set.
I don't even think Andy Murray made 10 on-post errors in that match. Not even 10.
But why should he? He had a big lumbering guy
just
heading
put
to
the ball in the court. Just put the ball in the court. That's all you got to do. You don't even have to worry about picking a side because wherever you stand, Raonic is going to put the ball to you. You don't even have to think about it. Look,
that's why the final was basic. Whew,
it was basic. It was
the
basic.
only person who
Marcos
really...
Baghdadis would have done better.
Oh my God.
Like any scrub would have realized, oh my God, this is Wimbledon.
Fernando Gonzalez.
Exactly. I mean,
Listen,
they would have dropped
I
the
can't
first step.
stand Milos. I can't. I thoroughly enjoyed watching him get his ass handed to him today. I loved it. He is so boring. He's boring to watch. He's boring to listen to when he speaks. He's boring to look at. I need him to stand up straight, get rid of them hunchback fucking shoulders. But Reels,
So that's how you really feel.
you're out of control. I'm just saying.
No, I'm not. Am I lying, Andre? You're the voice of reason here most of the time. Am I lying?
No, you're not lying. I mean, I think Milos will be very disappointed by his level of play, because I think he would expect himself to play better in the tighter moments. If you're lucky enough to not get broken by Andy Murray and get yourself to a tiebreak, you've got to handle that tiebreak better. You just have to. And I mean, he didn't. And it was fine.
pathetic.
I guess the return game. Listen, I get it. What did he end up in total? Maybe eight aces overall in that match.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And I know a huge part of that has to do with Andy, in the sense that Andy is such an aggressive returner, and so it's really hard to out ace him. But Milos can serve bombs, and the times you want to bomb is in a freaking tiebreak. Give yourself a little bit of room. If you're a big server, you should be like, "Whew, I'm heading to a tiebreak. Chances on my side." And I wouldn't even necessarily say that. And I mean, basically, Milos gave those. I mean, those were really bad errors, cheap errors. It's just really
there was
bad.
no strategy out there. It was just like, oh my God, I'm in the finals. Okay, all right.
No. There was
Listen,
definitely strategy.
There was a strategy, and it didn't work.
Lose.
He wasn't
The
able to
strategy out here is
execute.
to lose. That's it.
Oh my God.
Real,
Hey,
no.
let's
He was
check in with
trying-
Twitter.
Wait, he was trying. Yes, please do that. He was trying to serve and volley. Now, I don't mind Milos serving and volleying, but I just would not assume that you would serve and volley against somebody like
Andy Murray.
It just doesn't seem like that's an effective strategy
you know what?
against
Let's talk
somebody
about
like
that
him.
for a
Oh,
second.
and my favorite part about Milos all day long, I'm putting the ball to Andy's backhand. Why? Why? For God's sake. Why? Why, Milos? I mean, I would give Andy a lot of shit, but trust me, his backhand is top. Money in the bank almost every day. And what does Milos do? You know what? To your backhand, Andy. To your
But
backhand.
you know what? Master Ace is asking the right question to me. He says, did he have any serves at 140 plus today? Which he did.
No.
He did.
Not
And
like
then
not
but-
as many.
And so
He
what
did.
was? But the question that Master Ace has, which I think is a great question, what was Moya's game plan today?
That's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. It's not even about Moya. It's about why did you bring John McEnroe on here? Because Moya, I'm assuming, wasn't saying much in this conversation. As a matter of fact, I imagine Moya would have done a better job out there today. And Moya don't even like grass.
Well, this
Just
is
saying.
what I'm going to say about Milos's game plan. Yes, it is smart to adjust it to each opponent, right?
Sure.
However, you have to do what you did to get there because it was working.
Yeah.
And you hear that time and time and time again. This is what I've always done. I have to continue to play my game the way that I have been playing and what has been working for me. And what it comes down to, it just didn't work. And he doesn't have the experience at this point in his career to adjust mid-game, obviously.
Sit down.
Or
Sit
you know
down
what?
and
Or
take
you know what
people.
happened? Let me just tell you the real tea. The real tea is that Milos believed everybody's hype and told him that he reached a mountaintop by taking down Federer.
Exactly.
Even though he said that he wasn't playing mythical Federer, he was
Exactly.
playing normal Federer, which fine. But realistically, normal Federer, who I would assume at this point in time is 85%, he was still going to win that match, in a good winning position to win that match. So that should have told you that your game wasn't tight, Milos. That's not what
Exactly.
was
And
happening.
that go for had you on the ropes, boo.
Exactly. So, getting to the final and coming up with a strategy against Andy Murray, I want to sit down with John McEnroe and go say, yeah. So the way to play Andy is to serve and volley because Andy doesn't know anything about approaching the net. Yeah, that seems like a good idea. And he has a crappy passing shot. And he's probably and you know what? And he has no idea what to do with a lob. I don't know why they call him Andy the Lobster, because I don't think he knows how to lob at all. So it's just like,
I'm telling you, the only positive I take away from this match is the fact that we get to realize John McEnroe has always been full of shit, and all that fucking talk in the booth is just fucking talk. And time for ESPN, put him aside and find somebody else.
Cree from Twitter says that the problem with Milos is he did have a strategy which didn't work, and he had no alternative strategy. That's exactly what happened.
I'm sorry. I didn't see anything from the beginning. There was nothing, because from the very jump, he looked like he was playing to Andy's strength.
Because you know what, maybe Milos got confused because he saw that Serena was really effective by approaching the net. But you know what? Guess what? Andy ain't. I mean, Herbert is not the type to be hitting passing shots like that. I mean, yes, she loves her angles and whatever, but half the time Herbert's way at the baseline. So if you can approach the net, 9 times out of 10, she's not going to be there. But Andy's really good at anticipating, so he's going to see that. So I don't think... So
Andy is fit. He's the second fittest man on tour, Milos. You can't move. You don't move that well.
You don't got the speed.
What do you do, Milos? I'm telling you, I don't know who... Look. Somebody from the school of nursing will do what you do on court today. Because it looked like nobody was in charge, knew what the fuck was going on about tennis, tell you what to do today. Because Milos, all I just did today was just that you were present. Just that there needed to be an opponent across the net, and you needed to hit the ball, and you just hit the ball.
You should have focused on getting bigger serves. And then focus on that forehand.
There was nothing.
Because I don't know what you were trying to do. Because you can't do Guile versus Andy Murray.
After the first set, you realized you weren't acing.
Yeah.
And I was like, Milos, maybe we need to change something up here. I mean, look, I didn't have any dog in this fight, okay? I didn't care if Andy win. I mean, the reason, if I truth be told, what I really wanted to happen was that they both broke their ankles or twisted their ankles, but that's just being very, very, very evil. And I think there's that. What I really wanted to happen was that they had a bout of diarrhea. Both of them just have diarrhea.
Oh my God.
And then we just like, you know what, there's no finals, there's an asterisk next to 2016. There is just no men's finals this year. But you know what, that wasn't going to happen. And to me, it was just like, I really didn't want Lendl to win because I was like, oh, the Lendl effect. But you know what? I respected Lendl today because Lendl just sat there and just like, I ain't going to stand up here and clap for shit. Because what I'm watching here is just basic tennis. I'm not clapping for basic tennis.
Okay, can we talk about that, though, just quickly? In terms of the fact that we've got these 2 tours, and one of them is trapped in some sort of weird slog. Where were all of the young up-and-comers? What happened to them? I mean, let's be honest. Milos is the only one from, what is it, Generation something. It's not Generation Next. I mean,
it's Generation XX.
Yeah, what happened to the stars? What happened to the new stars?
Well, Dominic Thiem plays too much goddamn tennis, and he just realized his body is human, and whatever Novak is taking, drinking, or eating, or gluten-free, either he switched to that diet or the regular diet, he ain't working for him. He can't play that much tennis. He just can't.
Well, no, I mean, it was interesting. It was interesting that there were no new storylines on the ATP side.
There never is at the end of a tournament.
Oh, no one to talk about that. Oh, my, what are you talking about? It's always interesting. Okay?
No. Listen. You know I love my ATP boys, but let's be honest. Like this tournament, like this for the third slam running, it's been a whimper. It's been a real. And you know what? And we have to give props to Milos because clearly on the ATP side, the thing that you need, because I was looking at it and somebody said, you know, Milos was the future of the ATP. And I was like, you know what? This is what the ATP is doing now, is that they're disciplining their kids to the point where they're just dull, lumbering ughs out there. Because those were the ones that were effective. All of the stars, all of the Flash, all of the Nicks, all of the Dominic, all the flashy ones, where were they in any of the past 3
Well, seasons? Nick, they played several days in a row. It
doesn't matter. It don't matter.
I don't matter. I know.
It don't matter. You got to get fit, bro. Got to get fit.
Here's a little advice for you, Nick Kyrgios. Andy Murray is not your friend. He's killing you with kindness. He's not your friend, boo-boo. He's not your friend. So fuck this, like, you know, y'all just going on Nick Kyrgios' case. Leave him alone. No, when you see Nick, look, Serena don't even give a fuck it's Venus across the net. She's just see Maria Sharp over there. She's about to Beat that bitch. Venus knows she gotta hang on to all her resources. She can't get bagel that breadstick on that coat. Trust me. That's why Venus Serena says Venus is her most fierce competitor. Because if you can look your sister across the net and see, you know what, bitch, I'm gonna beat your ass, like, and you're not shivering and shaking. Look. So Nick, next time you see Andy, think of Andy like Stanley.
Or think of Andy like all the other top 3 that he goes after hard.
Exactly.
Like, I mean, he plays Andy so tamely. It is disgraceful. And he's the weakest link in the top 4 traditionally. Maybe
you know
not
what
so
Nick
much
needs?
anymore.
Nick needs a coach, and Nick actually said this without saying
now
it
he does,
in his presser. I mean, he's like, you know what I did to prepare for my match against Andy? I played video games. Not sure that was the best approach. He needs some guidance because
Not hearing this. Look.
You're not hearing anything I have to say.
Because
maybe I should just go.
Hold on. Hold on, relax. Relax. What I'm trying to say here is that...
Wait, Reels, let her finish her story. Take a step back. Finish her tale.
Like, damn.
He's coming at you, Janina.
I know.
All right,
you know why? You know why? Because I called Federer a choker yesterday. He's still mad.
That's where that came from. But you know what?
Almost finished by
but it's okay. But you know what?
But you know what? Kyrgios has the game. He has the game to be at the top, but he needs some guidance. And I don't know where it's going to come from. I don't, because
somebody recommended. Jane, a friend on Twitter, recommended BG, and I have to say BG might actually be good for that.
He might, because they both like to talk.
Yes, and
it's not going to come from Tennis Australia. That's been very good.
Yeah, and I think BG will be like, you know what? He's like, I'm going to harness this brashness. He's like, that's okay. It's like the Agassi factor. You're brash, you're bold, but let me use this to good effect.
Yeah. Here's a little advice. I honestly, I don't like Brad Gilbert at all, but you know what? Brad Gilbert, like Boris Becker, can always look like the bigger asshole in the conversation. So, no matter what you do, Nick, Brad Gilbert would always look like the bigger asshole. Just like Boris Becker.
I can't even deal with you. All right.
Nick Kyrgios, give BG a call, because BG is Craven. No one is calling him for TV interviews, and he would just love to be on TV.
Let's shift gears. Because Reels is hot and Janina is hot, and we need to cool down by talking about the coolest part of the tournament, which was the WTA side, and then we can return to talk about the entire tournament.
Well,
let me just say one more thing. Marin Cilic, I have no time for your fucking Craven ways when you just seeing some old man and beat up this old man. Okay? I think you are no better than one of those people who are beating up homeless people.
Oh my God.
No, you know what it is?
When you feel like getting on a hot streak, please, don't try this on Federer's watch, okay? Don't do this on Federer's stage, okay? You want to feel a hot streak? You want me to take you seriously? You want me to take you as a legitimate Grand Slam champion? You beat Novak.
That's not happening.
Rafa anymore. Because you know what? I don't know if Rafa's coming back.
He's coming back. Leave him alone. No, but you know what? I think what happens is these players are being coached by people who have played against Federer more than anyone else. So they know his game intimately, and they're like, okay, you know what? This is what I would have wanted to have done, but I didn't have the capacity to do that. I mean, Goran completely looked devastated at that loss because Cilic is beating.
But didn't he look good doing it?
But you know what was funny? So I'm watching the match, right? Before Janina called me out because I know she's holding this ace in her car to try to bring me down. So, full confession. This is how I watch a tennis match.
Shit, this is good. Listen up, folks.
So, my nerves, as we all know, meldonium is not available in the U.S. So, I can't get it over the counter. So, I just got to do it water and, the occasional liquor when it's nearby. So, this is how I watch a match. I'm watching the actual match. I have a Wimbledon website open, scoreboard. I have Tennis Temple scoreboard open on my phone. So, and I'm tweeting at the same time on my phone. But then, especially when it's Venus, I'm just like, God, Jesus. I have to know what happens 2 points ahead. Because you know what? I don't trust Venus with a lead. Never. I mean, Venus could be a 5-love, 40-love, and with serving for the set. Don't trust her. Don't. Kastakina, she was up 5-1 in the first set. Let's not forget that. Anyway, so I check the scores constantly on the scoreboard on my phone to make sure it is safe for me to watch. And I'm there praying like, oh Jesus, Venus, advantage. Please, Venus, advantage. God, Venus. So that I'm safe. So that I know prepare myself when I'm watching the actual match.
Oh, you're a mess.
I want to say that you are never, ever to watch a Venus-Serena match with Tony because I think one of you might end up dead.
Look, I have buried Venus in the grave. I have said, you know what? I will not refer to Venus ever again. It's stricken from my memory.
His Venus love is really bad. Okay.
All right, listen, we are live, so we need to remember to keep checking in with our Twitter folk. And hashtag tennis said that he really enjoys our shade when it's not directed towards his fave.
And who are his faves?
You know what?
No back.
Because we hit everybody.
Yeah, right? Jasmine, very good question. What does it take to turn 1 week players into 2 week major winners? Sloane, Keys, whoever. That's a good question. What does it take?
They need to turn off Twitter and stop believing that bullshit.
No. Well, let's see. Wait up. Who did Sloane lose to?
Kuznetsova.
Oh well, that's legit. Well, no, not really, because she served for it. I mean, I don't know. It's hard. It's different on the WTA side for me. I think that's a different question on the WTA side, because I think on the men's side, it's really obvious for the long matches. I think you can really lose your way in a long match. Even if you start out winning, you can lose from 2 sets up. Many people did that.
So you also have time to turn it around.
Yeah, you have time to. I mean, that's the interesting dynamic.
About 5-set matches.
About 5-set match at slams is that I think it's about match management more than anything on the men's side, because I think older players, more experienced players, can turn around a match. They feel like they still have time. There's not a lot of anxiousness around that. And I think a younger player feel like they can still lose the match even if they're in a leading position. So I think that's the psychological dynamics from like moving through a slam on the ATP side. On the WTA side, what do you guys think? I mean,
I think it's experience. I do say, the one thing, interesting thing, if we're going to talk about Sloane specifically, the thing about a Kuzi, I know it's your girl, Janina. With Kuzi, you never know what you're going to get in front of you, right?
Never.
Kuzi come out, you never know. She
Never.
is like an anomaly, right? Even mid-match, right? Like Kuzi could be there with you, and then she just all of a sudden be like, is this a person who won 2 majors? And a major when she was a teenager, I think. It's very difficult to know. And I think the only person who can really handle who would have been a better position to deal with a Kuzi would have been an experienced player. Someone like Sloane got very confused in the match.
Oh, no, she got comfortable. She was like, I'm up 5-2.
Right, that might have.
I can let go a little bit. She got comfortable. Like the thing that you need to know about Kuznetsova, which is weird because she's supposed to be really good friends with Kuznetsova. Like everybody loves Kuznetsova in the locker room, not just Janina.
Janina, girl, you better hold that girl down.
So that is interesting. So it's noteworthy that I think that Sloane kind of lost her way in not knowing that Kuznetsova is probably at her most dangerous when you're in the lead. Because then she sort of frees herself up. Yeah. And then she's up. You know what I mean? So that was a winnable match for Sloane that got completely lost because I think she took the foot off. She took her foot off the gas. Like she started just like she started throwing in like weak serves. And she wasn't hitting her forehand.
I mean, doesn't she not realize? She obviously.
Plus these older players can smell fear in the water.
Yes, they can.
But listen, Kuznetsova loves those long fucking matches. Even when she doesn't win them, she loves coming from behind, making people play for 12 hours, and then she'll still lose, but she'll take everything out of you.
Exactly.
But Sloane should know better.
Yes.
That was one of those moments where Sloane needed to have anticipated it and remembered who Kuznetsova is, which is that she's a talented player who can really hit a clean ball. And And there's no way that you are trying to win a slam and you're up 5-2 and you're losing it. Not in a slam. That's just inexperience right there. For
Tony says,
I was less forgiving of that.
Tony says he thinks maybe she lost her legs, lots of delays, long matches, etc. But that was only the round away.
No. Yeah, and she
hadn't played that much.
Yeah,
It was round 3.
No, Tony, you don't get to go there.
And you know what? And the same thing for Keys. I think the same thing happened for Madison Keys. Like, the thing that happens with Madison Keys is that when she's on, she needs to stay dialed in and finish a match. She, like Sloane, can get distracted midway through. And then you're like, why are we here, Madison? Yes. You're not the kind of player that should be grinding things out forever. I mean, this is grass for you. See ball, hit ball, get through it quickly. No, I mean, because it gets complicated for Madison. Like, suddenly, she tweaked her leg, and it was just like, oh, dear.
I don't believe that. I ain't got time for that shit, Maddie.
Oh no, you know what? Actually, she didn't. I think in her presser, she admitted that she got tight. She was not moving. She got tight. So I think that's the thing.
I think what Lindsay was trying to do with her, which is, I think a lot of these ladies need to learn this game, particularly since you play 3-set matches. And, as Andreen likes to say, with a 5-set match, it gets conversation. It gets interesting, right? Even though you're up 2 sets to love, can you maintain that level within the 3rd set? But I think these ladies need, what I know that Sloane and Madison Keys in particular, they don't have, it's a B game, right? They don't have a game to just maintain, to just hold serve. Okay, all right, I'm done a break. Let me just hold the tide. It's either they're on or they're off.
Yeah.
There is no in between. And I think this is what separates champions from, because I'm telling you, I know we hate to say this, and we like to say Venus and Serena and Martina Hingis are exception. But
they are
Martina,
though. They are though.
They would not be losing these kind of matches, especially to these opponents. If they were losing this kind of matches to like a Steffi Graf or like a Rancho Sanchez Vicario, I get that. But it's someone, where, okay, on an ordinary day, I can really do this. And in these big moments, I mean, I'm a little bit skeptical. But I would say,
I'm also skeptical of, Goffin. Let's be honest.
Yes.
How are you in complete control of Milos Raonic for 2 sets, and you lose your way for 3 remaining sets? In some ways, the 5-set, the losing from 2 sets up is so, it's fascinating. Because you think to yourself, you're doing everything right. And okay, fine, you go off the boil. Maybe you go off the boil in the 3rd set. Mm-hmm. But how do you continue to keep going off the ball in the 4th
clearly we know that
and the 5th set? You know what I mean?
Because clearly we know.
We got to get Roger Federer on this podcast. He can explain it perfectly.
Oh, shit. Shut
up. No, not on my watch. Look, Janina, you don't want to be on that bad list. Don't let me get security for you, okay?
That's my fave. I can talk about him any way I want.
No, you will not. Not on my watch.
I love it. Anywho, so let's not. We really need to give the WTA its due. I mean, we did.
Shawnee says he's disappointed with Madison and Coco and what happened there. As far as Coco is concerned, Coco happens to herself. She's just unreliable and a little bit stupid. So I've got no words other than that. Madison has a great game. She just needs to get her fucking life together.
No, I mean,
I don't think Coco ever gets her life together ever.
No, Real saw the Coco match. She was just outplayed.
I'm telling you, it's exactly what we said on Sunday when you left Janina. That the Coco has the game to beat Pavlyuchenkova, right?
Yes.
Let's be fair. Pavlyuchenkova is not one of the fittest girl on tour. However, Pavlyuchenkova, like most Russians, can smell fear in the water, okay? They're like sharks, okay? She's like, look, I'm in the opportunity here. Let me just see what I can do here interestingly.
And I think she can do more with the ball. Let's be honest. Exactly. She's just got much more court skill.
They could be like, okay, this is not working for me today. Let me try this and see what happens. They could take a break and, they have a game plan coming in, and that game plan isn't working so much. Let me make a minor adjustment.
That's not Coco.
That's not Coco. Coco is just like see ball, hit ball, ball goes out. My bad.
I can't stand Coco. Coco's dumb. Coco's
Coco alone. Apparently, Coco has got hidden depths.
Where?
I don't know. You can go find it.
Yeah, exactly.
Pavlyuchenkova it was just like taking candy from a baby. Pavlyuchenkova was just like,
that was a gimme.
As a matter of fact, Pavlyuchenkova had Coco running.
That's the best, because you can't get Coco to run. Coco likes to just stand there and hit ball.
So Coco, I don't know what to tell you, girl.
Is her name really Coco? Is that on her fucking birth certificate?
I'm sure. I don't
Our
know.
daddy got some kind of weird ass name too. I'm not surprised.
Man.
Oh my God. You
Maybe
guys,
that's why I can't stand
When
her.
it have a baby called Apple, you gonna question Coco? I got
or Coco Chanel. Come on,
exactly.
she's got an idol.
Okay. It's not okay. But Lovely Drama Girl makes a good point. Maybe regarding Madison and Sloane, they have an over...
Her name is Colleen. It's not
Who?
Coco is Colleen. Anyway, go ahead.
Okay.
Do they have an over-reliance for on-court coaching?
Oh,
and
for sure.
When they
for
can't
sure.
get
Yeah.
it in
That's
Slam,
something, yeah.
they're fucked.
That's something else for sure. I mean, I feel like that's Simona Halep's problem. I mean, Simona Halep
should have that shit anyways.
Simona Halep.
But
Listen,
you know what?
It doesn't prep you for a slam. It just doesn't. On-court coaching does not prep you for a slam.
It doesn't
no matter
prep
how
you for
great
tennis.
you look, no matter how great you look throughout the other tournaments throughout the year, as soon as you get into a slam, if you are over-relying on your coach, you get exposed hard.
You know what? I have a pet theory. Pet theory. As if Andre isn't having those things, and I agree with you. You're right about the on-court coaching, right? But my other theory with this regards is that there is no longer junior tennis, right? The junior players cannot make their way onto the tour because of the age restriction and the limited amount of tournaments that they can play, and that they're not getting that mental toughness. That sort of like they're not playing against, like, at age 14, 15, 16. They're not playing against Serena in the first round, right? So they don't get that kind of like experience. Like, you know what? All right, I lost to Serena the first round this year, but next time I meet her, I know what I'm going to do. They don't have that exposure, so I think
that didn't help Ryan Harrison much.
We're not talking about him.
I'm just saying.
I got lots to say.
Look.
Okay, we'll leave him for the.
We'll get
end.
there.
You just gave me an original, and I just got word from security. Ryan Harrison isn't allowed in the club.
Wait, everybody. We're gonna have to pause with Twitter a little bit, and we need to talk about the WTA, and we need to talk about the final as well.
Yeah.
Give it its due, like we did the crappy Murray final.
All right, let's roll.
Let me just say, congratulations to Serena. I'm telling you, Serena stands can have a seat and be comfortable.
Many seats. Oh, Lord. Can you all sit down? I'm going to give you all cushions. I'm going to give you all cushions.
Look, I don't remember who it is, but I think it's...
Recliner?
But someone is calling her Lords. That's a little too much, okay? It's a tiny bit too much. But you know what? I'm really happy she got 22. Unfortunately, like we all said here, as always since last year, Serena getting 22 will not make Black Lives Matter. It will not. It will not change anything. Because as soon as she won that 22, there come out the Craven racist bitches and white male privilege in spades saying some shit like, oh, there goes the end of WTA. Martin Waller, I'm going to call you out. Because you know what? You're a Federer fan. And Federer is older than Serena. Okay? So if you sit down there really legitimately want Federer to win Wimbledon, and then tell me Serena can't win Wimbledon, get the fuck out of here. Not only have several seats, you need to be in a toilet and you need to be flush. Because you're a piece of shit. You're a piece of shit.
Oh.
Because you know what? What you really want to say, you don't want to say. So stop hiding your bullshit behind some nonsense about, like, I'm only here for the longevity of the WTA, behind some other bullshit, because it ain't about the longevity of the WTA. You're full of shit.
Okay, yeah, that's true. We're gonna table that longevity and WTA thing that has been happening towards the end. We're gonna leave it with the Ryan Harrison conversation because I want to get into that a little bit. But what did you guys think about the final itself? The quality.
It was high quality, like beautiful. I suspected. Beautiful. Like I said, nothing that the men would do the next day could top what happened on Saturday. Nothing.
You better quit qualifying everything with the men.
Yeah, let's
Well,
podcast.
well, the reason why I'm saying this because this is what happened a lot, and plus, I can't wait to talk about my baby Pierre-Hughes Herbert being the Wimbledon doubles men's champion.
That was about
oh
the
my
worst.
Praise tennis Jesus.
Oh Lord! But anyway, so the women's final was actually really very compelling. I
It
rolled up out
was
of bed
great.
and watched the whole thing. I was like, even though I was on vacation, I was like, okay, but which can I tell you, the most painful experience in the world is watching Wimbledon on ESPN's ESPN app. What a brutal piece of shit that is.
And I tell you,
Delays, her server.
Yeah.
I mean, it's horrible.
as a matter of fact, I found out even though the tennis temple is on board with Wimbledon scoring app, which is as close as you can be there.
Good.
If you're not there.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I know that the streams that I got, I was 2 points behind.
Always
So
behind.
that's why I was checking Tennis Temple to make sure Venus was okay. And then I know that ESPN was at least a game and a half behind.
Brutal. I mean, it just needs to get that together. But no,
It
so
was a
I
game
mean,
and a half behind.
it was really good watching. But let me just tell you, I was reacting to everything like 2 minutes later. But can we talk about the game that Serena broke to get the first set and how that was all Angie errors?
Look,
Can we
tell you what,
I mean,
Serena
because
came. I
this
must
is
say,
where Angie's game gets her in trouble, right?
right.
Those extreme shots that usually gets her opponent off the court. If those don't go in, suddenly you've got a trash game. You know that.
Well, the thing about it too is that Serena was. Remember in Melbourne,
Yeah.
Angie kept passing Serena with the cross court.
Mm-hmm.
And Serena was like, I'm waiting for you, bitch. I'm not moving. I am not moving from this spot. Because I know 9 out of 10 times, you're going to go here. And Milos, you know what Angie did? She changed up either down the line. She did it a couple times. It worked out some of the times, but
Yeah.
you know what? She attempted to change. Milos, I ain't got words for you. No words for you. Other than to say you're Craven and you're full of shit.
No,
But,
I mean,
it was a really good finals for the women. I thought that Angie played
I thought
really
they were
well.
neck and neck.
Yes.
But I feel like they were only. I mean, I know a lot of people want to say that Serena's level was extremely high, but I think that and Angie's was as well, which is why it was so great. But I will say though that I think Serena's returns were off.
Yes, I would say that
I don't think her level of returning was as strong because I honest to goodness, Angie should have been more in trouble on her
I agree.
service game.
I agree.
I don't know if the stat held through the whole match. I'm not positive, but pretty far into the second set, Serena was serving at 90%. 90%.
Serving great.
You're not going to lose.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
true.
what. That was the difference because they both played incredible tennis, and the difference, honest and truly, was just a couple of points when Kerber cracked. And I mean, what can you do with that? Nothing. That's what you expect in a final. You expect two people to come, and it's who's going to blink first. And this time, Kerber blinked first.
But I don't even think she blinked in that way. I think what happened was she was still going for her game. It's just that what happened was she floated two forehands wide? Like that. So. When she usually goes for because Serena hit a good return, and then usually placing it behind Serena would be effective, and that's what she'd been effective at. But she just hit the ball a little bit wide, and there it went. And then that was for 15-30. And then 15-40, she just hit the ball way out. It wasn't even in the court. And I was like, well, there you go. But it was just, I mean, people. I think a couple of times, I've seen people like, well, what is it about Angie? I mean, I think what happens is Angie takes really extreme shot making to like this sort of art, and when it works, it's fantastic. But when it doesn't work, you're getting 15-40 on her serve. Do you know what I mean? Like it was without you having to do much with the ball once it happens.
I would say that one of the things I thought the match was very subtle in a very way. I agree with you that Angie made too many errors. Serena was serving first, so the pressure always went back on Angie immediately. And the other thing too, it's almost like if I'm to quote my baby Pierre-Hughes, is that you never know when Pierre gets hot, and you never know when Serena gets hot and unplayable.
Yeah.
That Angie felt in many ways. 90% of the time, I can hang with Serena.
Yeah,
right?
she was. Yeah, she was.
And she was. But then all of a sudden, no, when the scoreboard pressure, she knows this is usually when Serena gets
ups her
dangerous.
Return game. Yeah.
Particularly when you were trying her in the game before. When if you had broken her, you would have been serving for the set. And that happened, I think, in both sets, right? Where Angie was very close to breaking Serena. And then it was just like, and all of a sudden, it just takes 1 point, right? You put in a stupid serve, which we all know, let's be 100 here. Angie ain't got a good serve. It ain't got. But
she was placing it well, because if she must have been placing it well, or Serena was not anticipating it that well.
But in that game, Serena was just like, it just a one return winner, and then okay, all right, girl.
And then that was it. Then she was like, oh shit, she's gonna get more.
Oh shit, right?
Apparently, Serena said that she couldn't read her serve.
Yeah, that's the thing.
She couldn't feel it. She couldn't read it.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was surprising because
Go ahead, sorry.
Given how the match with Venus went, and she couldn't fucking hold, neither one of them could hold shit.
No, but you know what? That was the thing. That's why
it was surprising to see her. Yeah, it was surprising to see her hold as much as she did, given the match before. She couldn't hold for shit.
No, but you know, the reality was, and this is the thing, if you look at the Venus match, which is why I'm upset as a Venus fan. I know, Serena 22, happy for her. Listen, Black excellent, all of that. Black girl magic. But I think I was upset about the Venus match versus Angie, because Angie couldn't hold serve in that match. But the problem was Venus had nothing on her. You know what I mean? Like, Venus had no legs in that match to turn that into an advantage. She was in all of Angie's service games. All of them.
She couldn't hold her own.
But let's be fair here.
No. And then whenever she was in an advantageous position, her forehand went off. Venus's forehand went off. And I think part of that was just poor footwork, because she just didn't have as much in her legs. And I just was like, you know what? This was a winnable match for Venus. It really was, because Angie was not that strong on her serve.
Flashback to Venus in the Shvedova match and the Kasakina match, where I was at work screaming, Venus, move your fucking feet. Move your fucking feet. Venus, you're sending me crazy, girl. Girl, what the fuck are we doing here? Venus, you are on the ball. Why aren't our feet moving? Why are we hitting a return and we're still standing there? Why are we not moving? Little adjustment step. But I mean, like, the aura that is Venus Williams, if this were Venus in 2008, Venus would have handled Angie. Not even because of the non-showgrooms being in existence, but I think the aura that is Serena Williams, Angie knew, because let's be honest, in that remember, Angie won the Australian Open because Serena failed to serve it out. When Angie was serving for the match, she got broken, and Serena was the one who made stupid errors when she was serving it out. So there is a matter of like nerves and anxiety involved in it too. But I thought that for me, it was just like, I agree with you, Andreen, that for me, Angie wasn't playing that great. Serena just wasn't playing great. And in the big moment when it was scoreboard pressure, Serena turned up the dial, and then Angie stopped making the mistakes. Because I thought that
in the Venus match, Angie's quality was way lower.
Was way lower.
And it was just a lot. And I mean, Venus had more chances in that match than Serena had in her match. Right. Do you know what I mean? And so it was funny that you watch this and you're like, Venus, that was a winnable set. You know what I mean? Because Angie was serving out the set, and Venus hit 2 forehands into the net, like regular forehands, and she had moved her around well for the points, but then that next piece where it was just like she didn't have any lift on the forehand. I just didn't see any movement in her.
Well,
we could have had a Williams final, and I tell you, it would have been a complicated, messy final. But
it would have been at least 3 sets.
It wouldn't have been 2 sets. Just nerves would have required that it go 3. But But
you know what?
I mean, it was different.
I am happy nonetheless because you know what? I said this. Like I gotta give Reels a round of applause.
Giving yourself
because I'm calling the hostesses out, not naming any names, but name begin with an A. When I said Venus can make it into the semifinals, I see Venus making it nearly all the way. You said Kastakina in the third round.
Well, come on. Wasn't that the most complicated Venus match, Kastakina?
And let me tell you all something, and I'm going to agree with you. You're right, but let me also point something out for all those people who got their feelings all up in a bunch about Venus being on court number 18 for that turnaround match. You notice in that center court final, people were cheering for Angie. Those motherfuckers would have been cheering for Kastakina in the third round had that been on center court. And that would have complicated.
We got some serious Venus issues.
That would have made Kastakina feel like
Venus was very much loved on the outside court.
And Venus was very much loved. There was no question about it. There was no question about it. Those poor people, those who voted for Europe to stay in the EU, they were all about Venus Williams. And I give them applause. Okay, so thank you, Venus. You made that semi money.
It was good.
And it was good. And I know those commentators on BBC were trying to play your ass in the doubles. Fuck that shit. Bitch, you held your own. You were there because I don't care what people say, okay, unless you're Pliskova, you played your part in the doubles, Venus. And you deserve a round of applause.
Overall, yeah. So, which match did you enjoy on the WTA side? Do you think that I mean, obviously, I think the most sort of dramatic and swing ebbs and flows was actually the Christina Serena match.
That was good.
That's clear. I mean, I don't know if all the quality was good, but it had all the drama.
For me, that did because, like I said, I told you that one point when they called let was what really changed the match for Christina McHale. Because, I mean,
Christina McHale is looking at Angie going, girl, I took a set.
Exactly.
At everybody and like, I took a set.
Exactly.
What about you? What about you, Svetlana? Exactly. I took a set.
Look, let me just say something.
Vesnina. Oh my lord, let's talk about Vesnina.
Sveta, let me just say this before. Sveta is hating any fucking court where there's a cover, okay? Any court where there's a cover, Sveta is just like, I'm not here for that shit. Because you know what? This is the second time Sveta got fucked by a roof. In Melbourne in 2010, I'm almost sure. Or 2010, yes.
Did she get fucked by the roof? Because Svetlana got fucked by the roof. A long match though.
It wasn't a rain. It wasn't a rain. It was the heat. And she was just like, I don't understand why is it that they gotta bring the covers on. I was playing well, playing for the cover. And then the cover, she had Serena in a corner. This was like Ali versus I don't know. Like,
my God.
But she had Sveta in a corner. Sveta had Serena in a corner, ready for the knockout blow. And then all she heard is ding, ding, ding. We got to put on the cover. And then Serena was just like, woo, breathe. Easy now. Sveta, let me show you why I am Serena Williams. And then, because, I mean, the 7-5, that was okay, right? But that 6 love second set, no Sveta. Girl.
I know. How you gonna go from being as tight as 7-5? That's
no, girl.
Going, I'm done with you. I'm
That's
done.
what she does. Trust me.
So
that's what she does.
So basically,
I know people trying
Serena
to
ran through all the Russians. Serena ran through all the Russians.
Exactly. You know, I mean, and don't even try it. I know you Craven motherfuckers think that Maria Sharapova would have made a difference.
Stop with the Craven.
Oh, sorry.
I'm pulling that word from you. I'm pulling
I
that
can't
word.
use that word anymore.
No, we need you to give you new word.
Okay.
No.
Reels always has a word of the week.
I know. Is that your word of the week, Reels?
All of you keyboard warriors think that Maria Sharapova would have made a difference.
Oh,
but I just gotta tell you folks, Olympics 2012, and it was windy. It was windy in Wimbledon Center Court. So.
Oh God, the wind would have been disastrous for everybody involved.
I'm just telling you, okay, people. Maria Sharapova would have been double bageled.
I will say that Pavs looked like she really wanted to try to take a set.
I thought that was a good match. And there was another key moment where scoreboard pressure mattered. And I think one of the other things is like it's almost like Federer versus Cole Schreiber, where they know each other's game pretty well. Because Pav works out of the Mouratoglou, or used to work at the Mouratoglou Academy, and she knows Serena very well. I think the last time she played Serena, she got bad beaten, and I think she learned from that experience, and she was just like, you know what, Serena girl, I'm gonna play you. I learned a few things from that thing. But again, scoreboard pressure got the better of her, right? Where she was serving and she was at a disadvantage, and she felt like, and again, I like how people like to talk about Serena serve being this crazy advantage, and it's unfair. But nobody's saying shit about Milos Raonic, right?
I know, or John Isner.
John Isner, right?
Obviously, the serve is not the only thing that helps her. Obviously,
because you know what? Let me just
serve bot. I mean, come on.
But let me point something out to you. In 2012, when Serena got to the final, she was able to get 100 aces throughout the match, throughout the 7 rounds, right? She got like 60-something serve aces. So I don't know if you have noticed, Serena had a high point of serving has been 2012. Since then, the serving has not been the issue.
Yeah, that's not been the biggest thing. Yeah,
it's not been the biggest thing. What Serena has been able to do is stay in rallies.
Rallies longer.
Rallies longer. And you can't pick a wing that's going to be weak.
Yeah.
You're going to try the forehand, and then the forehand comes up and burns you like a hot fire. And traditionally, the backhand has always been solid. So
I mean, I think you saw that on display with her and Kerber. Because as much as, I mean, usually this kind of style would be something that you would say to yourself, oh no, I don't want Serena to be getting in these. And realistically, yeah, you didn't want her to be doing that Kerber thing, which is running around the court and trying to hit balls from impossible positions all the time. But I mean, Serena held her own fairly well in those rallies.
Yeah.
So it's obviously the idea of constantly focusing on Serena's serve is kind of silly. But but if you look at
from every impossible place.
No. So there was actually more going on. And I mean, the other thing to note is that I think the big impression in this matchup was actually the volley. I think moving forward and hitting her spots with her volley this time around was, I think, a key difference. So but let's think about it. Serena got through this match. Serena got through this tournament only dropping one set. I think similar to the other to her fellow champ. There was only really, curiously, one tough match per se.
Let me just say, I don't want to hear any bullshit about Patrick Mouratoglou being a super coach when he can't teach Serena how to do a drop shot. Not hearing that conversation.
Stop it. Mm-mm. No, listen. You know what? It's not about shots. Serena didn't need shots. You know what I mean? Let's be honest. Serena found
Patrick has been wonderful for Serena.
He's helped her do whatever she needed to do. It may not be X's and O's. It may not be how to hit a shot or whatever, but whatever he needed to tell her so that she can get over.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
but
I think
like,
whatever it
Serena,
is.
I just hate those drop shots. I just hate
and they don't need. They're not necessary. And they're not necessary. They're not necessary. Like she had she used a drop shot when she had break points up on Angie, and I was like, take that away. Luckily, she retreated away from that for the 30, 40
we
points.
We can see that a mile away. Okay, like there's no point in trying to be secretive about that shit when we know. And my thing is that the crazy thing, it is so telepathic. Is that you've pinned the player way behind the baseline, but they got time to run forward every
still. And especially Angie, who's quite a little sprinter.
Ooh, I gotta say, Angie got her life together. She is fitter than Australian Open, which we have noted that her fitness level has increased since last year when she was
tremendously.
Yes, that white was very flattering, and you know how much I hate Adidas. You know how I hate Adidas clothing. But Angie was looking all snatched in that white suit. And if we're talking about fashion right now, for the first time in a very long time, I gotta say that Nike did a very good job for Serena.
Serena looks fabulous.
She looks classic, so classic.
I just think that I don't give two shits about the nipples showing. Fuck that shit.
She got nipples.
I didn't watch the nipples at all.
Women have nipples. Let me just wait. Let public service announcement. Women have nipples.
Yes, they do.
We all do, actually. Men too.
Yeah.
Men too.
And sometimes the men show too. But just
and the men
FYI,
get hot when we're stimulated people.
Nipples happens. Yeah, when you get
Nipples
excited,
exist.
it happens. That's just what happens.
Yeah.
It pops out. Maybe it's also cold because it was pretty cold that day. I mean, it was windy, so that also will make the nipples pop.
And
So,
Serena got cleavage, unlike most of the ladies on tour.
She didn't have cleavage in that outfit. It was up to her fucking neck. What are you talking about?
No, it wasn't up to her neck, because that's my next point. I would like Serena just a little, just 2 inches higher. You would give me a little bit of Kidva. You would give me a little Petra right there, okay? I needed your girls to be just a 2 or 3 inches higher. Okay?
Just to nail the whole outfit. Just to nail the whole outfit. But no, the outfit was perfect.
It was
perfect.
It was gorgeous.
When I saw the picture, I didn't think it was going to work because I didn't know how I would feel about Serena's arms being cut out. Not that I have a problem with Serena's arms, but I just I thought it was going to hang poorly. But it all was perfectly cut.
It was.
I mean, her arms look fabulous. She had her. I mean, I was getting Michelle Obama, which is always a good thing. And so she just looked really regal. She looked regal, and she looked like she was ready for 22. Yeah. And there she is.
I like the airiness to it. Whatever the case may be.
Very nice.
Fabulous.
And I like this simple kit. It's not memorable though, because I don't remember it right now. But
no, it had like these lines that were just perfect for her.
Yeah, it was really beautiful.
Really beautiful. Well, I'm telling you. And
don't mess it up for the U.S. Open though, because you'll be giving her.
She will.
Cheap.
Don't worry.
You know what? I think you know what I love about Wimbledon. Wimbledon is like being a chef. Apparently, I don't know how true this is, but when you're a chef, one of the greatest tests that you have is, can you cook an egg? Can you make eggs?
It's true.
Yes.
And for Wimbledon, it's like, can you make white work for the athletes? And, you know, a lot of people fail. Adidas, I'm talking to you. You know what?
Under Armour.
Look, New Balance. You know my rule, okay? Just like first dates should never be. For all you British fans out there, if you're on a date and the man or the woman take you to Nando's, fuck no, he gets no nookie tonight. Nothing. You don't ever see him ever again or her again.
How do we end up in Nando's?
I'm just saying, no franchise on the first date. No franchise. And never, ever date anyone with New Balances. I know, Janina, you got a pair. I know you got a pair, Janina. But you're a friend. That's okay. Friends can have New Balances. But you know what? No one you date have New Balances. Nope.
Well, I guess we should also mention briefly Nike's utter fail with that weird dress that it was trying for.
Oh, it was a muumuu. Not a weird dress. It's a muumuu. It's a muumuu. Straight up and down, it's a muumuu.
It was a muumuu.
It was a muumuu.
I mean, it was a muumuu, but it was a short muumuu. It was a short muumuu with I mean, basically, it was an opportunity for you to wear booty shorts.
Look, I mean, everybody's wearing booty shorts because even what was
but
funny
they want you to be able to see it in the dress. The dress is supposed to float up in the air. I think it was supposed to be sort of.
It was a distraction, is what it was.
It was a Grecian thing, right? It was like a Grecian effect.
It didn't work. It looked good as long as the wind didn't blow. It was beautiful, and then the wind would blow, and it hindered play. So therefore, it was a fail.
Yeah, it didn't look outstanding.
Jason Reese is asking, how do you feel about Serena's new rose tattoo on her back? I totally missed this.
Oh, I
don't know anything about this.
I saw a little bit. I saw a peek of it.
You got a picture, Jason? Because I don't know about this.
Okay, and then can we also talk about...
Tony says, what the heck is a muumuu?
Oh, okay.
Go on, Reels.
A muumuu.
Thank you, lovely drama girl, because you know my hostesses were trying to come to my wig. My mother still used the word Craven, and I love her dearly.
That was so 10 minutes ago.
8 minutes
You gotta go find someone to support her. I don't remember anybody else's outfit. I guess Sibylkova looked like a sausage as usual.
Herbert looks really good because she's so freaking fit.
Oh, talking about outfit, let me just say, I know you ladies not a big fan, but I thought that Sibylkova, Dominika looked banging in that wedding dress.
Oh, we're not talking that. That's not it. Listen, I'm sorry. We don't do lace. I mean, I get it. Is that culturally specific that some people use lace? Because I think lace has always been cheap in my mind.
Wow.
Anytime I see lace, I know it's not cheap.
I don't even have feelings, and they're hurt. They don't even. If I have feelings, they would have been hurt.
I don't like lace. I mean, I don't mind it on like a, but I don't like, I don't like dresses that use lace in the way that makes it seem like you're going to what do you call it? A dance where you're in a dance competition. Because it's that sheer material, then blended with the lace, and then it's placed all in odd spaces. I just think it's trashy.
I don't have a problem with lace on a wedding dress. I think that's one time where it's appropriate. But
I like it as a veil.
I did not like the nude shit underneath, so that she essentially looks naked with some strategically placed lace flowers covering her body.
Tomas Berdich's wife wore that, right? She wore something exactly.
Something very there's Serena's tattoo. Yeah, I didn't know this. It's very dainty. Well, okay, that's nice, Serena.
Yeah, so I mean, but also, can we talk also? I think Dominica had a wonderful run. I was one of those 4 people who thought that getting to the final and winning would not be good for her, but she lasted longer than I anticipated. But then
longer than she anticipated.
Yeah, right. But I mean, let's be honest. Even though Vesnina had a strong head-to-head against her, I just didn't think Dominica had much left after the Aga match.
No.
Yeah, I mean, and I think she was happy to go. She's like,
I know how much Janina hate the Ninja, but I thought it was a really good match.
Well, I didn't see
it. It was a very good match. It was actually one of the better matches.
That it was he thinks it was the tournament, the best match of the tournament on the women's side.
Yeah, because both women were really going
strong,
for it.
Very strong. That's a very strong contender.
It was not a matter about nerves, though. They were just a matter of
Aga. She even forced Aga to hit the ball. Let's be honest. Aga was actually trying to hit the ball out there. She was trying to do the usual, let me see if I can kind of do some, nice dips and stuff. No, Aga was actually trying to hit the ball out there. And that, I have to say, if you can get Aga to try to hit a ball.
And I like
she wasn't trying to massage it. She wasn't trying to stroke it.
And, Anja,
do the usual shit.
Made the Ninja stay behind the baseline.
Yes! And she made the Ninja almost look tired. And Aga never looks tired. So that was really great.
And the good thing about it is that Dominica didn't allow the Ninja to rise to the occasion like Anya Konya, right?
She's like, you Ninja your ass back, girl. No, but she did. But to be honest, though, Sibylkova, she served for that 2 or 3 times.
A million times. Okay? By my count, it was a million times.
That was a fun match. That was a really, 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 really fun match. I have to say, much props to that.
Yeah, it was one of the better matches in the tournament altogether. Because
if you think about it, you didn't really have a breakthrough per se for any youngins on the female side either, on the WTA side either. There was a lot of old staples and faithful.
Well, I think one of the things I think I can be, when it comes to Sibylkova, I think that Sibylkova, we can be like, her run to the Australian Open, wasn't some fluke, and particularly.
Oh no, she's too talented for that.
Plus, pretty soon afterwards, she had that surgery.
Yeah.
And so you can expect that Sibylkova can be contending for. She'll be fighting her way, and she'll be snatching up some wigs here and there, especially since a lot of these new and up and coming Muguruza
don't got the fight. They don't have half in the tank that she does.
Exactly. So Sibylkova, hopefully marriage works for you, girl. You need to shave that stupid Williamsburg hipster beard bullshit.
Leave him alone.
But I have to say, I'm fair. I give Jack the jacket. His tux fit him perfectly. Unlike anybody else. Her husband, the tux fit him.
I love how we're blending, chatting about her marriage issues as well as her marriage as well as her performance.
I don't even know what's going on.
Yeah, I know.
I'm just saying. Anyway, but I mean, I really think I'm excited to see what Sibylkova can do.
I mean, let's hope she stays fit. It should be fun.
I'm always in your corner unless you're playing Venus.
But but I don't think any of the young'uns did anything.
No, I mean Bencic had injury issues.
Yeah, she went away. And for all the talk of Ostapenko,
nada.
Well, she did well in the mixed doubles. That's always
whatever.
You know what I mean?
But let's think about the final 8 were all oldies but goodies.
Yeah, yes. I liked it.
I mean, congratulations to Vesnina, I have to say. And
she's been playing.
She took that ass whooping like a pro, didn't she?
What's that?
She took that ass whooping like a pro. I was proud of her.
Benzino is doing well since Clay, right? Since Charleston, she made that final, played against Sloane.
Look. I think Benzino, it was a little bit of fangirl, and then it was a little bit of like, I'm not usually here.
Yeah, you know all she can do is giggle, and baby girl, that's okay, because I giggle too.
Look. It was one of those things where like Serena was
like, I'm not going to turn out to be Vinci today. She's like, damn.
Look,
Vinci today.
Nina had met Serena in the quarterfinals or the round of 16. It would have been much more interesting. But you know what? Serena had just had it with the Russians. She was just like, look, this is my third Russian in a row, and it's not even my favorite. Fuck it. I ain't got no time for this shit. I'm not even trying to make this cute and interesting. I'm just in and out, okay? Venus need all the help she can get. Venus gotta play, and plus they had to play doubles afterwards, right? So
yeah,
I clearly anticipated that she and Andrew was gonna go to three sets.
We do have a YouTube comment. Jade, and this is interesting because I believe that she actually said this. He says, Jason Reese says, can we talk about how Sloane is happy losing to Kuznetsova because it reminded her, quote, how much she loves the game. Girl, stop losing in the third round and get on the practice court. Love you guys. Thanks for listening, Jason. Yeah, Sloane says some really things.
Well, she was a little too happy to lose that match for me. I mean, from the position she lost it, that was too much. And because she made it seem like, this is the thing, she made it seem like Kuznetsova won that match because Sloane gave her a royal battle to the very end.
No, it wasn't.
That's not, I mean, that's okay to say it like that. Like, who could have said that? Aga could have said that about the match with Sabokova, because she was giving it her all at the very end. Mm-hmm. For somebody who kind of mentally went away a little bit like Sloane did, to get up there and be like, hey, I'm going to give you a big hug. I know I served for it at 5-2, but this is real championship, and it's so wonderful, and I'm happy to be here. I mean, no, girl. I wasn't feeling that whole championship, I
took that all as shade as to Gabby.
Yeah, I mean, probably, but I wasn't feeling any of that. I mean, it was. Listen, you can be sportsmanlike, but you can still be a fabulous sports person, and really, really have that hunger to win. And so the pat and everybody's like celebrating the hug afterwards. It's so much overcompensation as well. Oh my God, let's talk about overcompensation. I'm gonna need. This is a public announcement. This might be informed by the fact that I had an extra glass of Pimm's.
Uh-oh.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you. All right. Let's see. Okay. There's such a thing as overcompensating. I know that we love the WTA, you love the WTA, and you feel like the WTA is under attack. And so therefore, every single time something good is happening on the WTA, you've got to point it out and say, see, this is why it all matters. I get it. WTA matters. I really do. But you got to stop the overcompensation, okay? The amount of language on my timeline about how good the WTA final was, it was almost insulting because it was so extra. Mm-hmm. And it's like it's almost as if they themselves have been questioning the value of the WTA.
Or perhaps they've envisioned what the finals would look like.
Yeah, in their own minds. You know what I mean? In their own minds, it's like this. It's just there's just this quality around covering the WTA that I'm finding really tedious. You belong there. Celebrate being there. Go hard at covering it, and just do it. Quit trying to appease the people who find the WTA unvaluable. Like it's like unless they're gonna kill you on the streets, like they're killing us, or unless they're gonna stop you from existing, like they're doing to us, you matter already. Okay, just act as if you do. The overcompensation chatter was driving me nuts around the WTA. It was like, oh my God, this is what it means to be a sportswoman. Oh, this is what it means to be this. It's just like it was so much stroking that you moved away from sort of being a critical, analytical, thoughtful coverage of the WTA. It was too much cheerleading. And people always accuse the ATP of doing the same thing, which is why we look at the ATP and go, whatever, boo. But don't fall for it and do the exact same thing on the WTA side. We know that women compete well, we know it, but it's like every single article is written for one guy, John Iverdale or whatever his name is. It's like, I mean, like, take it as a given that I'm watching a WTA match because I find it valuable. I don't need to be stroked 20 times because I'm watching it. It exists. It's good. We know it's good. We know it's a great product. I don't need to be told 20 times from 60 that it is. I don't know if you guys felt that, but that was how the coverage was feeling. And I just feel like that's going to get really exhausting over time.
Well, for me, it's like, I personally thought that, this is the kind of hand that you got dealt with because you made the situation happen, right? If y'all were lying and telling stories in the beginning, y'all got called up because y'all are not being fair. Y'all were trying to be like, oh, Murray is a feminist, yada, yada, yada. But then y'all were on the bandwagon when Ivan Lendl showed up. Oh, my God, this is great for Lendl game. And fuck
Lendl effect. Lendl effect.
Right? That y'all are not being fair and y'all are not being honest with yourself. And y'all, this is what happens when y'all are eating at the same table, drinking the same Kool-Aid, or Pims if you like it, or whatever, the same bad batch of Pims. And, this is what happens. And again, I'm accusing, I found a lot of what I was reading very disingenuous, right?
Yes,
Y'all were talking about the Venus situation, and Venus said this when she didn't say this.
Yep.
Y'all were talking about the fact, and I'll forget to mention the fact that the reason why Wimbledon was fucked up because rain. They played on middle Sunday. And Wimbledon will do everything. What wasn't mentioned was the fact that men's doubles, played best of 3 in the first 2 rounds just to catch up. Men didn't play the best of 5 sets in a couple of rounds. So, again, I think a lot of times they do a disservice to the WTA, and I think the WTA in of itself, it stood. You don't need to go so hard on the fact that, yes, Vesnina got her ass handed to her and she was happy to take her hand, but I think Vesnina knew what the real truth of matters. I'm a low-ranked player. I had to mainly get to qualification. Serena is the best player on tour.
I'm lucky to be here.
I'm lucky to be here, and I'm gonna cash that near $1 million check for being in the semis, and plus getting to the quarterfinals of doubles. But people want to get mad. Like I said, it's the same thing like for this Martin Waller bullshit. You want to tell me Serena is full of shit for getting to the finals of WTA of you Wimbledon and winning, but you want to celebrate Federer, who is older than Serena, winning as well. So this kind of dissonance that because y'all are flip-flopping so much, y'all don't even know which side of the pancake you're on. So it's time that y'all take assessment and step back and look at the shit that y'all are dealing with, and perhaps acknowledge, like we do on our Real Tennis podcast, it's that we have faves, and we like these faves. And when we hate judiciously. We just hate on like Janina
calling Federer a choker.
Oh, God. Oh. Yeah. Look at that. There is disagreement in the camp for Federer. When has that ever happened? When has that ever happened?
No, but it's just the thing, and there is just one also. There's another thing. It doesn't happen so much at slams because I think generally the rules, tend to be equitable all around, or their attempts to be. And listen, I'm not taking Wimbledon's side. I don't give a shit. That's an organization, and organizations have structural issues. But one of the things I think that happens sometimes when I'm getting WTA coverage is that WTA coverage sometimes doesn't let people know that these are negotiations. When things are happening about court assignments and coverage, and those are negotiated terms by each tour.
Which is what Sergei Sarkovsky said. That it's really and truly.
But it's not even just Sergei. Other people have said that. Right. They're two separate tours.
Organization.
Yeah, so half the time when I get this, there's this sort of weird stance for people who write about the WTA and the ATP where they're always they. And I'm like, who's the they?
Right.
If the they is the leadership, then you need to talk about WTA's leadership in failing to do certain things for their players, because these are negotiated positions. You're negotiating coverage. You're negotiating how many matches are going to be seen on TV. You're negotiating lots of things. And one of the things that I think people don't understand is that the tours really do work very separately. They're not coming to the bargaining table together. This is not like when Venus was doing that during that time in 2005 was it? That's not what was happening. That's not how it was back in the day. So now these tours are separately negotiating things. So whatever you're seeing from the WTA, don't just always wrap it into sexism. You have to challenge those organizations and those leaders to demand more for their players. And so I need less cheerleading about why we matter, why WTA is awesome right now, and coming on and be like, this is a fantastic match. Why were you silent when there was a crappy match yesterday? I mean, you can't keep making these distinctions match for match. It's got to be the quality of the entire thing. I can have a crappy match and still find the whole tour valuable. So stop fucking using one great match to uplift it.
Because if Nole didn't lose to Sam Querrey, that scoreline would have been Andy's Murray in a losing position.
Yes.
It would have been worse. Because you know what? Because Novak would have been, you know what? Motherfucker, I'm going to get revenge for 2013. And not only that.
Let's not even talk about that shit match, because I don't know.
And not only that, I have a real non-grass gold player champion across the net. So I'm going to treat him like a scrub.
No, that was just my, like, it's like it's really been kind of, I'm like, we just need to cover WTA matches like they have value in and of themselves. That's why you're covering them. I don't need a press release stroking you for covering a WTA match, because it's tennis. We're watching it. That's why we're watching it.
I'm sorry. Remy Danton wanted to talk about the Vesnina match against Serena. What's there to say? Serena came, she saw, she conquered.
To what end? Is it because of how other people talked about the match after the fact, or is it about the match itself?
Because he said you were talking about it and Reels cut you off.
Because honest to God, what is there to say? I mean, at the end of the day, this was no different than the Murray Roger Federer semifinal last year, where Murray got his ass
handily
whooped
beautifully
by Federer. It's one of those things where the winner was on like a boiled corn, and the loser just couldn't do anything.
And also, but the other thing too is sometimes,
what did you really expect?
But also, this is what we do. We talk about this on our podcast all the time. One of the things that happens in a slam is that the first week on the WTA is a fucking roller coaster. People are going left and right. Some people are lasting and some people are gone. But what usually happens when you have a roller coaster is the second week, it calms down, right? Because sometimes what happens is the person who survives week one and didn't really belong there in a kind of upset, they usually get exposed. That's sometimes what can happen, which is why then somebody like a Vesnina, who, wonderful run, but put her across from Serena and she's possibly going to be exposed. Whereas somebody who lost in the first week, who might actually compete better against Serena, you put them there and you get yourself a tight three-setter. It's just what happens. You know, like we always say, WTA starts out with a bang and sometimes ends with a whimper. And ATP starts out like a snoozer because everything goes along. And then because they really have a tour of just 4 or 5 guys that's really solid. That sounds harsh, but usually by the second week, the matches are usually a little bit tighter because sometimes the seeds hold, and then you start to see people compete strongly, right, against each other. But it doesn't mean either tour doesn't deserve to.
It sounded like a snoozer and ended
like a snoozer
hibernation.
Too. Yeah, I mean, but it doesn't mean, like, for me, it's just like, I watch tennis, I like it, I think it's great. I'm tired of one match always being a kind of, like, referendum on either tour. It's, like, annoying. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, we can have pet arguments about the various tours. Be like, this week the ATP is boring, next week the WTA is we can have that. But it's like every single week, we're not calling into question each tour's value.
Exactly. And I think we need to be honest. We need to be honest as to what's happening.
Ugh.
Like, I mean, like I said, the WTA again, as we can see, even when Serena is not in the conversation, because as soon as Serena won 22, and that's a major accomplishment, everyone got out crazy and was just like, oh, it's like, look, Serena wasn't there for the first two finals. Muguruza won. You have three different winners on the WTA tour. You only got two on the men's tour. And we can say that Query won by a fluke because I'm sure as fuck when Novak
he legitimately beat Novak. Whether Novak was prepared or not doesn't matter.
Right, but when Novak meets his ass again, you better guarantee.
Well, then, because by then he will have been rested and he will have probably been practicing on hard, and it'll probably be lights out. But listen, Novak likes to roll up on grass at Wimbledon, going, "Hey, boo, I'm still gonna get to the final." He couldn't do it this year for whatever reason.
But you know what? Anyway,
next year.
Anyway. I mean, I am really excited and happy that Serena won her 22 because you know what? It's going to prove to Serena's stance that it doesn't change the fact. It doesn't change
damn thing.
Because what they're going to talk about is Margaret Court.
24. Now I'm seeing Margaret Court. I didn't even, you know what I love about this though? I'm getting such a history lesson about tennis. I didn't know half of these ladies.
Really?
You know what I mean? I mean, you know them, but they didn't bring them out. They didn't roll them out in wheelchairs every week for you to see them.
I thought there was nobody in that box that I did not know.
No, but you know what I mean. When Steffi was coming up, these people's names weren't being rolled out.
It didn't matter because apparently everybody seemed to think that you have to appease the Twitter crowd, right?
No, but I mean, it's just like nobody cared about this. I mean, the legacy of whatever, but now suddenly it's like, ooh, Serena's at 22. Yeah. So better roll up Margaret Court and her 24. And we're like, who is Margaret Court competing against? I don't know,
right.
But it just doesn't matter. It's 24.
Because nobody was going to Australia back then, right? I mean, I really think that, but I really think that people just took it as a matter of perspective. It wasn't that serious. That titles and majors weren't that big of a deal, right?
Good for her. Good for her.
It wasn't that big of a deal. But, I mean, and I got to say that when Serena gets to 24, if she gets to 24, the next thing I'm going to talk about is Serena needs to play mixed doubles. Yeah, but you know what? I watch, and talking about mixed doubles, I watch that, I'm not a big fan of Martina Navratilova. I think she's a jealous woman. Yeah. I think she is a Monday morning quarterback. Thanks for that quote, Bridge P. Karen. I mean, Martina, I always think she's in it and could do it.
Oh my God, you're right. Margaret Court has 11 Australian Opens.
Right. Nobody was showing up. Nobody was there. That was basically national championships.
Margaret.
I have to say that, I really do think that, if we're going to talk about, I don't like the GOAT conversation.
Oh,
but,
tennis has definitely changed. The only way.
But, I have to say that, that what Martina Navratilova has done for tennis, and she make Pam Shriver relevant, which is a hell of a job. Because without Martina, Pam Shriver is nothing.
Well, somebody said that. Somebody asked us on Twitter, can we talk about the fact that Patrick McEnroe has acknowledged that he thinks that Serena Williams is the greatest athlete ever. Not female, but the greatest athlete, I think, ever. I'm going back to find the actual quote. What about, that was Master Ace. He says, what about Patrick McEnroe being the greatest athlete of all time?
He will change his mind soon because that's what he does. He's a flapper. But she may not be the greatest athlete of all time. I don't know. She's up there. Male or female. I mean, I off the top of my head, and I'm not saying I don't believe she is. I just don't know all the stats of everybody else, of every other sport in the world. But what she has accomplished as an athlete, has, female or male, is practically untouchable. I don't know that we'll ever see this again.
Yeah, I mean,
in our lifetime. I'm not saying ever again, ever, but are we going to see somebody so dominant? I don't know.
Well, I mean, things do change. I mean, technology change and fitness change because, I mean, let's not forget, Sampras retired at 21. Agassi, I think, at 31, 32. Steffi Graf at 29. Sampras at so, I mean, tennis has been able to push its fitness level beyond the average age of 30, right?
But she's not your normal player. I mean, she's
but then again, I mean, they're the last generations, and I mean, let's be honest. Even when Serena's not in the conversation, these girls can't even get their shit together to even make it to the final.
No, I mean, you know what? So wait, so there are a couple. I have a couple reactions on Twitter. So I think Bridge P wanted to say that that it's important for there to be a consistent message about the value of the WTA because it's always been considered inferior. And so for people to keep saying that clearly is worthwhile because clearly people still think it's an inferior product. And that's fair. That's fair. I think there's different ways to talk about and I feel like sometimes it's a little bit like what happens with people of color where we kind of end up playing respectability politics. We're still trying to prove to someone that our existence matters rather than sometimes kind of attacking it from this place where you matter and we're just gonna keep doing what we're gonna do. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like if a women's match goes long, it's like, see, our matches can go long. I feel like the end game for this is women playing best of 5 sets, to be honest, and I think that's a losing battle. But if you want to play best of 5 sets, go ahead. But you can stand by your product regardless of whether it's best of 3 or 5. That's not really what it comes down to. And let me tell you, if you do start playing best of 5, they will find another way to talk about what's not good about it.
Absolutely.
It will be the content of the match. It's not because it's not about that.
It's never going to be enough.
Because what's going to happen is that every best of 3 match is going to have an asterisk.
Yes.
Not best of 5.
You know what I mean? It's like it's another way. Once whoever dominates in the best of 5 era, and if it's not a person of color, hoops. And suddenly it's like, oh yeah, Serena was really great, but they were playing best of 3 then.
Yeah,
it's ongoing. It's not. I feel like sometimes you got to cut that thing off at the pass. It's valuable because it is what it is on its own. It doesn't have to represent something in contrast to another. It is its own thing, and that's the value. So I don't know,
but like I said, I mean, one of the interesting things for me, and I Janine and I, we all 3 of us talk a lot during the not on air. But one of the things I was mentioning to Janine is like a lot of the times when I like to value, when I'm trying to assess the value of someone or something, I don't just look for critics to tell me what it is, what is the value. I like to hear what the opponents or like their contemporaries or their colleagues like to say. And a lot of the times I find it really interesting that that when Andy Roddick was asked the question of like, oh, why is it that Venus only won 7 majors? Andy Roddick was just like, hold up.
Only
Venus
7?
I know. Only 7? Like, I only won 1. I would have liked to won 2 or these 3.
Exactly.
Venus won 7.
Yeah.
Let's just grapple with that idea. And with Venus, with Serena's contemporary, the next person is at 7. She's at 22. When she was at 21, when she was at 18, when she was at 14, the next person behind her that she played with was at 17. Was at 7, sorry. So, I mean, for me, it's just like, it takes a lot, just the mental focus of being there, of being involved in this match and whatever the case may be. And I think a lot of times it's because we're not fair. I think a lot of times that we're not fair with what we're talking about, right? We're not doing... The journalists are not allowing the true story to come out. They're just interested in telling some fucking madness bullshit. They're not telling the truth, and this is why a lot of this conversation is coming out. They don't check a lot of this bullshit. They're coming in asking about equal.
Or you have to check. You have to check something. Like, you can't be so much of a cheerleader that you can't be a critical person of the product that you're trying to push.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Because what you end up doing is you end up sanitizing your coverage, and then you can't actually attack anyone that has a legitimate point of view. You need to start throwing away these illegitimate point of views. I mean, the best of 5 shit, it's an illegitimate question. I mean, it's just, I feel like men have been defining the terms of greatness, and because that's been the case, every single scenario is always fucking pushing back at some idiot guy who says something that then has to be internalized and then attacked and then like pulled up, and I was like, I don't give a shit.
Right, no one, exactly. This is bullshit. Because like I've been saying all the time, it's just like, I mean, like, look, why are we sitting around having this conversation? They're not going to pay the woman any less. Never. Once they have done...
They might.
If I take a quote from Leontine Price, she says, one of the amazing things about life in general is that once you have done something, you rarely can go back and change it again. Once you have set a precedent, Wimbledon can never in 2020 say, you know what, the ladies are going to be paid less. You give me fucking shit now. No matter what.
I mean, but I don't think so. I think that's the thing. I think, I'm never that comfortable about that, right? Because that, everything is on the table. Everything can be negotiated, right? That's really truly what we are seeing in other spheres. That things that we've taken for granted, rights that we've taken for granted, can be eroded. So I think it's a choice. It's a choice that they have made.
What I don't like about the equal pay conversation is that, in fact, equal pay is only at the majors. When we're on the ATP, when we're on the regular tour, we're having a totally different conversation.
Well, and those things have to be negotiated. And so
exactly.
I just think that when we talk about those kinds of things, it's best to actually inform us as fans and not just run with the convenient sexism label without actually exploring exactly what's happening. Like, what is or isn't the leadership doing? What demands? Like, I've gotten myself in so many scenarios where I'm like, oh my God, this thing is happening, and like, oh, they're contracted to only show 2 matches. Who created that contract? Do you know what I mean? But as a fan, you're like, I demand seeing everything, and you're like, well, that was a negotiated thing. Well, who was around the table negotiating?
It's one of the reason why tennis TV never show women's doubles. They never show women's doubles for the most part throughout the tour, but they show men's doubles. But anyway,
let's get back on target. But yes, but that was like a subtext that was just bleeding into Wimbledon, and I don't know. That's just my pet theory. Don't get sideswiped by the best of 5 bullshit conversation or the equal pay bullshit conversation, or at least change the terms of it. Change the terms. I'm the same old conversation over and over again is
tiring. And stop. When some stupid motherfucker in the press room say some stupid about equal pay question, just say, shut the fuck up, colleague. You ain't got no time. Okay? Real question here. Serena, your nipples were showing, Girl, push those girls up a little bit. But you know what? Let me just talk about the fact that, I was enjoying Super Saturday. For me, Super Saturday was 2016 on Saturday, July 9, 2016. I'm sorry, I finished the bottle. If I'm getting dates mixed up, it's not my problem.
What happened on Super Saturday?
Super Saturday. Serena won. Serena stands get to have a seat, and we get to see racist motherfucking America show its ugly face once again. Okay? But you know what? We can put that aside because we knew it always exists there. Then Pierre-Hughes Herbert and Nicolas Mahut won the doubles. Don't you Lord me, Jimmy? You just mad because Federer ain't got shit to say for this Wimbledon. You know what? But she got that run of 16 money, and that ain't bad.
I'm happy that Pierre won a title for him.
And then Venus and Serena came together and knocked out Timea Babos and Shvedova and won doubles. I'm telling you, I couldn't be more ecstatic. I didn't even go to the gym on Saturday. That's how I was feeling myself.
I feel like poor Timea. Was Timea revealed as some sort of bizarre?
Oh, she was going on how Serena on PEDs.
Oh, she did.
And it's so weird because she's not the one that was caught with a PD. But anyway,
meanwhile, she ain't got exactly. You know what I mean? She ain't got shit to say about Maria, but we got shit to say about Serena. I can't with these people. I don't have shit. I don't have shit to say about. This is why I can't with these people. You know what I mean? Meanwhile, WTA is falling over itself.
There's nothing like beating somebody who thinks that you're doping.
Exactly. And then what you gonna say about that, okay? I'm telling you, Venus held her own. You know when Venus was serving for the match, I was like, oh good Jesus. Oh tennis Jesus. Andrina, you gotta put up your first bond. You gotta put up your first bond so that Serena can serve this match out. And then Venus did an excellent job. And you know what? I have to say that, you know what? As much as most of these singles matches were not compelling, I really enjoyed doubles. A lot of the doubles. I watched a lot of doubles.
You've been retreating to doubles.
My company where I work didn't get a lot of work done in this past week, but you know what? We ain't checking for that. We're not talking about that, okay? I'm just saying, next week, I'm going to be on it like I'm telling you. I'm saying they're gonna be like, oh my God, real, you're on it this week. Like everything is done. Like I'm like, no.
They'll suddenly understand why you're effective.
Why I need to be here and why they pay me money.
Anyhow, any other
comments
on Twitter we need to deal with, Janina? Yeah, I checked mine.
I don't think so. No, we're good.
All right.
Someone said something on YouTube.
Nope, just Jason. We already addressed that.
Okay, I have to say, I mean, overall, I mean, like you're right. The Wimbledon on a whole is 6 out of 10. I mean, I do give the WTA, you know,
the WTA brings it to. That's why that's why the average is even up. Is because of the WTA side.
The fact that there was the repeat finals, the ATP couldn't help themselves when they had a repeat finals for the French Open.
We do have YouTube comments. Sorry.
Okay.
All right, lovely Nectar. Thank you for always being here.
Oh yes, you have always been Nectar. I have to say you've always. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I'm a little bit drunk. Tipsy. Sorry.
Oh dear. You gotta learn how to.
You know what? Let me take that back. In one of my previous jobs, you know, the people never say that they were drunk. They always say,
never.
I was nice. So I am nice right now. You know, Nectar, I have to say that you've been a very effective commentator, and we love you for giving us many comments.
Yes. And how long is this one? Okay, got it. Nectar says he hates the GOAT debates. To me, there's no such thing. It's just something that ESPN, a.k.a. the Hype Network, comes up with because they don't have anything better to show. So they just start all kinds of debates. You can't say anybody is the GOAT when the players will never play each other, let alone play each other at their peak. It's one of my biggest pet peeves. I hate the GOAT debate. Serena has 22 slams. Steffi has 22 slams. Roger has 17 slams. They are all great. Just enjoy watching them play and their greatness. Well said, Nectar. And then we have another comment from a person whose name is a bunch of numbers, and I'm not going to read them out.
Maybe there might be a lot of numbers, Janina. We could be making it.
I didn't hit the lottery. So, my hand across my heart to all of you on the panel. We're a panel now. That sounds important.
Wow, we got promotion. Yay!
Had you noticed how every commentator in this Wimbledon describing Serena's efforts as powerful, brutal, strong, especially when we know she gets more speed out of her serving due to her technique and simply the way she serves. She played smarter than most of the women.
Actually, let me just say something.
I disagree. The smartest player on tour is Aga.
Wait, hold on.
The ninja?
Yeah.
Hold on, Brian Boyd. I let me not mistake. I'm Brian Boyd. I think that is your name, but I don't know if I can't remember your Twitter handle because thanks to Mom Napa, my brain is fucked up. But anyway, I have to say I watched the Martina Navratilova documentary that was on BBC. And what struck me, it was, I mean, I know a lot about Martina, more than I really care to know. But, you know, I know a lot. But you know what the most interesting thing is that Martina was the one who brought fitness to tennis. Yes. And I say to tennis on the men's side and the women's side.
Lendl. But it was also Lendl.
But I think Martina is definitely before Lendl time, right?
Yeah.
Martina definitely revolutionized, like, you know what, if I'm going to be playing a sport, I got to be fucking fit, right? I gotta be running, I gotta be sprinting, and whatever the case may be. Not once did anyone call Martina an animal. Not once was there an animal reference. Not once was there anyone making any kind of like crazy, like magical, any kind of magical reference that she was like out of this world interesting or like some crazy like out of phenomenal. But that was what I found interesting. And here was Serena picking up, continuing a legacy. Serena and Venus did not revolutionize tennis with that in terms of fitness, in terms of how they look. Martina Navratilova had already done that. Monica Seles, Capriati had already done the power game tennis. Serena and Venus were just continuing their legacy. Richard Williams had just watched tennis and be like, this is what these ladies are doing. Maybe I should just follow. I think the only thing that he probably revolutionized, and I could be very wrong here because of, again, the drink, is that he said, you know what, when it comes to the second serve, don't stay behind the baseline, step in. And I have to say...
Which is what Andy Murray did.
Andy Murray did today. And also, when it comes to Serena, they're trying to say how Serena has this amazing, crazy serve. When in fact, and then they turn around in the next minute, say, the technique is amazing. This is what you need to do. That you cannot read the ball toss. The ball toss is in the same exact place every single time, which is what Pete Sampras did. You don't change the ball toss. You don't. Look at what Vesnina was doing. You know what Vesnina was doing? When Vesnina was serving out wide, she moved. She moved the position. Yeah, she moved where she was standing. And it became so problematic in doubles when she was playing against the Williams sisters. It was just like, Serena was just like, I've seen this before. Venus, this is what you need to do when it's Vesnina returning. So this, again, it's just like, you can't have it both ways. Serena has a very good serve. And I think this is one of the reasons I read an article years and years ago, which is why a lot of the women's serve is fucked up, because they're following the Steffi Graf model, because perhaps because Steffi Graf used to serve with 2 balls in her hand. So when you, and again, this is where ugly racism raises its ugly head, is that really and truly, typically, the reason why we would see a lot of one-handed backhand coming up in the generation after this generation is because of Federer. We would see a lot of players with the one-handed backhand. And also, you would also see a lot of players because of the two-handed backhand, because they're like Marat Safin, Novak Djokovic. So people are trying to copy the player that is winning at the time, the champion. But people don't want to copy the fact that Serena is winning. But anyway, I just think
they don't want to focus on their serve. They don't want to rely on their serve, which is what helped Christina McHale take a set.
Thank you very much, okay? Because it's the only point you control.
It's the
only thing you control. Milos Raonic, how about we do that, okay?
Honey, the only reason why we're talking about Milos is because he has a serve. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, he doesn't have a return game. So Milos without a serve is, I don't know.
I think I said this on this podcast years ago. Well, not years ago, sorry. Thank you. I'm checking myself. Last year, I said I'm going to take Milos shopping so I can teach him how to return shit.
Oh, my God.
Was basic Milos.
Which essentially brings us right back to Janina's heart-stopping point, which is that Federer gave that match away. Because there's no reason Milos deserved to be in this final.
I'm not hearing this choking conversation. You're not talking to me. I'm not having this conversation.
That's fine. Okay. You don't have to. One day, the truth.
Federer, you are wonderful. Federer, I am happy you got to the semifinals. And I'm happy.
I like to give Janina credit when she gets gritty, because she comes hard, and I appreciate that.
I'm just going to say this. I'm saying Federer, I'm happy you got to the semifinals.
You already said that.
Yeah. So, so we're rounding down. This was a great Wimbledon. This was a great Wimbledon in general. It was fantastic. Historic.
Yes.
For Serena.
I'm sorry if we didn't give this as much attention as you do. I am very happy and excited that Serena got her 22. For you fans, I mean, I think we've stated it here for quite a while. It doesn't matter to us whether Serena got 22 or 21 or whatever.
She's the greatest tennis player right now.
But I'm very.
I'd like everybody to have in the 20. But
it's very funny that I cannot imagine that I see a woman on the tour, who could be winning multiple majors. Not even 7. I have to say
you don't really see that on the men's side outside of the people who are winning now. So it's no different.
Thank you very much. It's no different.
I mean, I think somebody asked me why can Serena continue to win, and in contrast to Novak Djokovic, to Federer. And I mean, again, they're 2 separate tours, but imagine if Victoria Azarenka had become Novak Djokovic-like.
And she stayed healthy.
Think about that. Think about, essentially what happened is you had them both emerge at the same exact time as challengers, and one of them continued to thrive and the other one didn't. And we saw what can happen when Vika is committed and playing well and is healthy. She took 2 titles from Serena this summer.
Yep.
So, this past year, or past spring. So it's not a reflection on Serena. She's the baddest babe on tour. If she's not there, It's open season. If she's there, it's hers for the taking. The only person you can say that comparable on the ATP side is Novak Djokovic, and it changes every year. Sometimes it's Rafa, and sometimes it's Federer. That's not what's happening on the WTA side, but that's why we like to say they're two different tours, and we talk about them differently. We make fun of them, we beat them up, but that's really the dynamics at play.
Yeah,
She's still the best on the WTA, hands down, even when everybody else steps up. That can't be said.
Is.
And also another thing I like to add to that, that Serena has a big game. She can maintain.
Yes.
Yes.
When
when
the storm is, when you are feeling yourself across the net and you're goaded, like Azarenka has done several times to Serena, and so has Simone, Serena can maintain and hold her own. And then all of a sudden, which is what happened to Angie, right?
And it's what turned. He didn't have a big game.
Exactly. It's also what I've seen when Federer was in his heyday. I was just like, all right, shit, it's the ninth game. You better fucking look out, because here comes Federer. Here comes Federer. And he just has to put the pressure on 2 points, and then you start making errors on the other end.
Which you see with Novak Djokovic now. We always feel like there's a moment when champions are able to turn the tide in a match.
Because that's what they do. That's why they're champions.
Yes. That's what happens.
And speaking of
and
champions,
that's why you don't know Ryan Harrison. That's why you don't know anything about
a champion.
Ryan.
Who's the champion?
The mixed doubles champions in Great
Oh,
Britain.
did they just
two?
Oh,
they
good.
won a while ago. So yes, Heather Watson now has a Wimbledon title.
Thank you.
That's good compensation.
Jeannie Bouchard, get your life together, girl.
Oh, that's good for Heather.
Yes, I'm happy for Heather.
Thank you for reminding me, Mr. Master Ace.
Maybe she'll be chosen as Andy's partner this time around at the Olympics.
Maybe not. We'll see. All right, let's wrap it up.
All right. Fun time. Next time around, what comes next? What's next?
Yes, I don't know. Gestad? I don't know.
Newport. I don't know. I mean, I think we're gonna probably pay attention starting mid
Olympics.
Actually. You're foul for that, Janina. You're foul.
Thank you for joining us live. We won't be doing another live show, I think, not necessarily until the U.S. Open.
But you never know. Let me just say the Tennis Olympics Committee. Okay, I'm sorry, the Canadian Tennis Olympic Committee. If y'all fucking think that Raonic and Pospisil is gonna take home doubles gold, get the fuck out of here, okay? I don't know why in God's name y'all didn't put Daniel Nestor on that team with Pospisil. Because y'all know Pospisil can't play singles for shit.
I know. Poor Pospisil.
So that is some fucked up crazy thing. So.
Yeah. Well, I guess the next thing we'll probably be talking, I mean, the next probably live, I will say, is probably sometime during the Olympics. I guess I'm going to pretend to care about the Olympics this year.
I care. No worries, guys. I genuinely care.
Janina does.
I really.
I mean, I care about the Olympics, but it's only about tennis. I'm telling you honestly.
I care about all of it.
Yes, she does. Anyway, let's roll it out. Let's roll. Let's congratulate Serena.
Yeah.
You're phenomenal.
Yay, Serena, 22.
22 is fantastic.
And Serena, you don't even need to say fuck those haters. I'm saying fuck those haters for you, okay? You got 22. But it was a long, arduous roll, okay? I'm journey. You won your first in 1999.
And Murray got 3.
Yeah, so, Murray got 3. And apparently, look, Serena, let me tell you something, Serena. It's a little secret between you and I, okay? Winning 22 don't make you great. Apparently, winning 3 makes you great. So you could have stopped in 2002 after winning Wimbledon, okay? Just letting you know. The people in my office like to say Wimbledon, okay? So, Serena, you have won. You have been great 7 times over.
7 times more than Murray.
7 times more than Murray, okay?
And he's considered the greatest athlete of his generation. Not just the greatest, probably the most important. No. Anywho.
So let me tell you, Noli fam, a little something. So don't get mad at Federer saying how Federer is getting preferential treatment. What you should be mad at is that the fact that Andy Murray is anywhere near this conversation. That's who y'all should be mad at, okay? So don't get mad at Federer, okay? He's got 17 and he is old.
All right.
So when y'all are trying to come for Federer family, and Federer fans. Okay, y'all need to go talk to the Murray Mountain people. Whatever those folks are. I don't even. Me personally, I don't know where they are.
Go, Murray. Murray's 100. Murray's 1,000 points outside from catching up on Novak on the #1 spot. What I like about just slip on in there, boo.
Get it
Finish
done.
the year. Get it done.
I ain't mad.
The unfortunate thing for Murray is that I'm telling you, no, they're gonna spend the rest of the year beating his ass like he's white on.
I know.
Oh my God.
White on rice.
Looking forward to it.
No,
It's been great. It's been great.
I think the last time, look, Novak does not fuck around with Murray, okay? Well, I'm just telling you something.
He's already decided he's not playing the Davis Cup in Serbia. So this means that Murray has to go play Davis Cup on Friday.
Yeah, he's not playing Davis Cup, I think.
No. He hadn't made a decision.
He said he's not. Or
He
Murray
decided?
hasn't said. No, Murray hasn't said. Nole isn't playing for sure. That's what I know.
Oh my God.
But let's be honest.
This is an excellent opportunity for Marcus Willis to step up and, show us what he
Oh
can
my
really
God. I am so done with you today.
Let me just say, though, honestly, it's not like Murray spent a lot of time on court. I think you'll be okay.
He'll be fine.
Got 3 sets. The final was over in what, less than 90
Go
minutes?
beat some Serbian ass, Muzz.
Go get it done, Mazara.
All right.
Yes, we didn't know.
Don't get to let me just say anymore.
Let me just put this out there as a public service announcement. People are going to think this is a little bit racist.
Shit.
Oh, stop it.
Hold
on.
Wait. We didn't handle one thing. Sorry. We did not handle Ryan Harrison. How should we handle Ryan Harrison?
Okay.
We should tell him that he's a peon.
Ryan Harrison, and by extension, Jan Michael Gamble, when you're not so busy getting your nipples pinched by some, body
We're not shaming John for pinching nipples. We're talking about.
Look, Ryan Harrison. Look, I ain't got no time for y'all. I can't say Craven anymore. Mm-hmm. I don't have no time for y'all lazy motherfuckers who trying to come for Serena saying, look, she's an American. Y'all can say and do on as much as you can. She is an American. She ain't from nowhere else. And she and look, Venus Williams. Venus is 36. She got showgirl syndrome, and she's the #2 American. And I've been saying this since last year. I've been saying since this podcast exists, I've been saying Venus is the #2 American. Now, you and your friends, the John Isner and ilk among them, could go check yourself in some fucking garbage bag, okay? Because no matter what y'all say, these Williams sisters will go down in history as the best goddamn thing that has done to American tennis. They have revived this sport. They have made it relevant. Nobody in Asia was checking for Chris Evert. Nobody. Nobody in Africa was checking for Chris Evert. Nobody in Timbuktu was checking for Chris Evert. Everybody was checking for the. Everybody is checking for the Williams sisters. People in Europe is checking for the Williams sisters.
And aside from that, I mean, these two ladies have actually just been carrying the legacy.
Yes.
Again, for the last however many slams, they're the last folks standing.
Yes.
Even the last folks in week 2. So I mean, I think one of these moments, I think instead of taking to Twitter and trashing a fellow American, which is apparently very important to you because you've mentioned that, I think you should take some time out, call your mentor Andy Roddick, and let him explain to you why Serena is great, what you can learn from Serena, and how you might be able to have an impact on tennis. Because maybe if you're less critical online and maybe call a sister up, she might be able to inform you how to improve your tennis. I'm just saying. You've got 22.
And probably how to play with your brother, perhaps.
Maybe. You all could probably form a doubles team, and maybe that might help you. You have a family. I'm sure you're going to need to pay bills. So,
thank you very much.
If I have a Grand Slam champ in my pocket, I might want to call her up. I might just even get Serena to bring you all together and have a conversation about how to do tennis.
Maybe she can help
let
you
me
learn
just
how to
let
hit
you
the
know,
ball.
the Bryant brothers, your other America buddies, they lost to Rajim Fram.
Leave Regime alone. Anyway, that's gonna be my. So I'm just saying the only reason why I think it's even important to address him is because he's clearly always about the American, and the only time I've ever seen you come across my timeline is critiquing Serena. So I think you just need to figure out a way to use her as an example. She is that other America Langston Hughes talks about, the one you all keep in the kitchen, and don't turn around and learn from. You could. So go take some instruction, and if you don't have her number, Andy Roddick has it.
So let me tell you something I think is really, I don't know if this plays in, but this, you said it, the other American. Frederick Douglass had reported that in one of his speeches, you know, a woman was talking about how she had died and gone to heaven, and she had seen all this glorious thing, and then someone asked her, "What any Negroes in heaven?" And she said, She stopped and she said, "Oh wait, no, I didn't go into the kitchen." So,
Goodbye.
So let me just.
That's it. You are
let me just let you know, Ryan Harrison. America is not just, you know, where you think it is. Okay, it's all over. Okay, and it's filled with people of color, and they're beautiful and they're wonderful. And you know, unfortunately for you and your America bullshit, after Venus and Serena retire, it's a whole bunch of people of color who are below them. Because Ryan Harrison, you're not even a scrub. You don't even qualify to be a scrub.
Aww.
And that's kind of sad.
It's sad. But,
It really is.
I'm
But
sure
you know
he's
what?
on the way. You know what? Ryan Harrison used to be the competitor of guess who? Milos
Novak
Raonic. Milos Raonic and Ryan Harrison were thought to be future rivals.
Yeah.
One
those are
has
the same
just
motherfuckers who are writing about all kind of bullshit on tennis.
I'm just
How'd that
saying.
work out for you, Ryan?
I'm just saying, that's it. So while Milos is taking his beating in the
finals and collecting $1 million, Ryan, you're out there trying to be a Twitter keyboard warrior. Motherfucker, I ain't got no time for you.
Okay, and we're wrapping up.
All right.
Anyway, hostesses, this was a
see ya.
wonderful Wimbledon, and unfortunately for me, my Wimbledon ended on Saturday. And because I'm a tennis fan through and through, no matter what, I watched the men's finals today. And I'm not going to lie about it, no matter mixed doubles, but I figured Heather would handle it. And that cutie patootie, who she was playing with, Kontanen, he was hot as fuck. But I got to say, Pierre-Hughes, the sexiest moment for me.
You and this damn Pierre-Hughes.
When you were going through your Monfils withdrawal syndrome at the beginning of the year, nobody did.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah,
We tried to stage an intervention for you, but you weren't having it, okay? And you can't be coming for us when you're on K bandwagon, okay? Mr. Man made of glass. Let me just say,
right.
I know you're listening to this podcast because everyone important listens to this podcast. The sexiest moment for me of this Wimbledon was when you grabbed onto Nicolas Mahut's shirt after winning that semifinals. And that's telling you folks, I watch a lot of tennis these past 2 weeks.
Tell the truth. Tell the truth. Tell the truth. You had pictures of the shirt grab, of the hug.
I had pictures. Someone took a picture. I'm telling you, that was one of the sexiest
And what did you say
ever.
about that picture?
I'm telling you, I can't wait for Pierre-Hughes to grab onto my shirt like that. I can't wait. But anyway, overall, the 6 out of 10 Wimbledon was a wonderful event. I'm happy for Serena for winning 22. It is an amazing accomplishment for you personally. You know, unfortunately, it won't stop police from killing people of color on the street. But you know what? People of color will be happy knowing that, you know what, Serena equals Steffi Graf. Thank you, Steffi Graf, for just showing you don't give two shits about tennis after you retired. I'm happy for that. You don't give two fucks, you know. You only come out and you ain't got no business.
She's got
and I'm
kids.
excited to see that Margaret Code, Peggy, you were stuck between all the lesbians.
That was brutal.
And you ain't got shit to say about that. You couldn't say shit about that. Could you, Peggy? No. Where you and your crazy, your crazy version of Jesus with that, right? Anyway, it was a wonderful Wimbledon after all. Roger, I am happy that you made it to the semifinal. Unfortunately, you might be retiring soon, but you know what? I think America don't give two fucks about that. She's just happy she's gonna have a man home because she's about to take a long vacation because she said that these 4 fucking kids running up and down, especially Leo and Lenny. And you know what, fans? I'm happy for those who were listening to us, and those who commented. We are happy to enjoy it. And even the Nole fan who tried to tell me I didn't know what I was talking about, that Nole wasn't using the egg quite recently. So anyway, ladies, any final words? And I wouldn't say anything more. Like Iago, I would stay silent.
No.
No, I got nothing else to say. Okay. Adrien?
Okay. I'm good.
Okay. You don't have any more rants to say? Like apparently Marcus Willis was on your mind last week?
No
Nothing
rants.
else?
No rants. I'm gonna let Serena's 22 end with a bang.
Yes. So ladies, we're leaving the SW22 club, and we have to go home and sleep it off. Okay. I know my ass is worn out and tired. I ain't watching a single tennis match this fucking week. I don't get.
Honey, I don't care. I'm taking a tennis break.
So, word to the wise folk, there will be no podcast coming out next week.
Good to know.
We're taking a break. I think Janina gotta go play with her children. And make sure that they stay alive for at least one more week.
Oh my God, goodbye.
Anyway, folks, it was happy, nice, wonderful having you. You know what I mean? And Wimbledon was wonderful. Anyway, have a good week.
I'm gonna end this. I'm gonna end this with a tweet that I just saw.
Okay, go ahead.
Congrats, Andy Murray. But Brits celebrating a Scotsman winning Wimbledon would be like Americans celebrate a Canadian winning the U.S. Open. I don't know what.
Love.
Do not go into a rant over that, Reels. End the podcast and say goodnight.
All right. Good day, good night, good afternoon. Bye. Good day, people. Goodbye.